Gaudy stats. Good God, that's Gaudy.
Okay, hello everyone. We are back on the Gaudy Stats Podcast Network. This is not the Gaudys, but we are making our way through the fantasy regular season. This is being recorded 2 days before Thanksgiving. We've got two games that are certain to occur. Another one is in flux there with Ravens Steelers on Thursday night because of all the
I don't think I
positives.
knew that.
I actually think, real quick on
Wow.
that, on the side note, every Ravens Steelers game is the same. So I think that if it's canceled, they should just show a recent one, and nobody will really know the difference because all of them are the same. All right, so just put a recent one on NBC and see if anybody notices.
A
But
lot
so
of hard collisions.
we've got three games there on Thursday, and then wrapping up the slate on Sunday. We now have an 11 game sample size, which is about a month more data than we had the last time we met. So we are the season, just like always, gentlemen. I'm joined by Mr. Kemp and Mr. Simmons here. The season seems to fly by. It's like the off season takes forever to get here, and then you look up, and from week 1 to week 10 or 11, it feels like it goes by in the blink of an eye. So hard to
Mhm.
believe that we're to the point where we are almost in December, and we're thinking about both the fantasy playoffs and the real playoffs. I don't like that. For those of you who will be listening to the audio version, there was just unsettling eye contact there from Chris, also known as Bucks Diehard 2020.
For just 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fading quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to go Bucks. Fan. Kind of.
Yeah. I want to start with this question because we're not going to the actual awards, the Gaudy Awards yet. That will come at the end of the year. General kind of takeaways now that you've had 11 weeks to digest. What in terms of the fantasy football landscape? We potted. I don't know if you guys remember. Tua was about to start. It was right
Mm.
before his first start with against the
Mm.
Rams. General impressions of Tua, Chris.
Oh, he's been underwhelming at best. Not to say that excuse me. Not to say that the Miami offense really isn't bringing a lot to the table, but Tua's just kind of looked like he's there. He's not really bringing anything. I mean, he looks like he's deer in headlights, and he's going for the safe passes. From what I've seen. Now, granted, I haven't checked out his last game, but I don't really see somebody there that feels confident, that thinks that he's going to be a game changer, the way Herbert is degaffing the entire game. He's doing him, and he's not afraid, not scared. Tua's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, and on that, I want to say that in general, one of my big takeaways is the fact that defenses, I think you're seeing a big shift to offense. Like, even your best defenses aren't going to be able to stop offenses now, and you're seeing that in the point spreads. The point spreads are going off the charts higher. I want to say
The
like
over-unders.
50, yeah, exactly, the
totals.
over unders
Yeah. Mhm.
are what, 10, 11 regularly in the 50s. I remember the KC St. Louis game from 2 years ago. That was
Oh my God.
really was like one of the best games.
It's like 54
regular
to
season
51
games.
or something
Yeah,
like that.
It was. Yeah.
that was, I think that was a 58 point spread.
Uh-huh.
Or over under, excuse me.
Yeah.
You're seeing those sorts of over unders happen all the time now, and
Yeah.
I just don't think that. I think the new trend that we're seeing is that defenses can't stop. offenses, and that is going to affect your defensive minded coaches.
Unless they play in Cleveland,
Yeah,
where it's like a monsoon's coming
I
down.
know.
I want to say real fast, I could not disagree with you more on Tua. I've been impressed. I think he's looked good. I can't believe that you have been underwhelmed by him. I mean, he went out and beat Kyler Murray in the desert. Kyler Murray, who's having an incredible season. And
Here's having a good season.
he's beaten the
He's my
Rams.
MVP.
He's beaten the Rams and the Cardinals, two playoff teams in the NFC. He he beat he beat the Jets and the Chargers as well, right? So he was 4-0 going into this game. He struggled against Denver, but he's a rookie and he also had a major injury. I see a quick release. I see someone who sees the field well, but is still trying to get a feel at the same time for NFL defenses. I think the left-handed QB being able to kind of roll out that way and fake defenses out sometimes is a little shouldn't be discounted. I've been impressed with Tua, and if anything, I think for his sake, I think the fact that Herbert has been so spectacular to what Ben is saying, I think that's actually going to benefit Tua in the long run because Burrow and Herbert having better seasons thus far, I think will allow Tua to develop without as much pressure on him as there might otherwise be. But
Mm.
I think all three of these guys are going to be sensational. I mean, you talk about a fortuitous start to the Chargers season, like the doctor stabbing Tyrod Taylor and collapsing his lung
It was
ended
by
up being.
design. It was by design.
I'm telling you, man, that ended up being
He
the
said,
best thing that could have happened to that team.
Stab him in the fucking lung.
Yeah.
Was
Hey,
that guy
I need you.
Dr. Chow? Was that like
Hey, I
the
need you.
Twitter doctor that did that?
Hey, come here. I need you to
But-
collapse his lung. Collapse his lung. Collapse his lung.
He's the old Chargers doctor. I don't think he's their doctor anymore. He was the
Okay.
San Diego Chargers
And
doctor.
so, sure, I mean, and Herbert is someone who has like an array of weapons, and these were weapons that we're not surprised by. We knew that like Allen and Mike Williams and Hunter Henry and Eckler, when he's healthy, were all very strong players. I mean, Joe Burrow has made weapons out of guys like T. Higgins and sort of the corpse of AJ Green. Tyler Boyd has been good anyway. So and Tua, when you look comparatively to in terms of the offensive weapons that all three of those teams have, I would say Tua is clearly behind. I don't know that like when you're measuring all those up, it's really not even close. And I mean, like, who is the Dolphins like number 2 receiver? Is it like Jakeem
Preston
Grant
Williams before
Yes,
he
right now it's
or Preston
Jakeem
Williams?
Grass.
before he got hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Preston Williams, Devontae Parker, who's a Louisville guy. I mean, I love Devontae Parker, but I don't know,
Mike
Gesicki,
Gesicki with his Abercrombie
Edwards,
shirt
you
on.
know.
Miles Gaskin, exactly, with his Aeropostale. Speaking of which, I just have to, guys, I'd be remiss. I mean, look, I may have to repeat this at the Gaudis, but I cannot go. The one thing I'll tell you from my research tonight, the one thing I want to give to you with the
give it to
Jerome
me.
Bettis stat line, okay? These stats are real. Okay, you can look them up for yourself. So Jordan Howard, cut by the Dolphins, waived by the Dolphins, whatever, after playing in 4, I believe he played in either 4 or 5 games, okay? Jordan Howard's final rushing statistics with the Miami Dolphins in the 2020 season. He came from Philly to Miami in the offseason. 28 carries, 33 yards,
Oh God.
4 touchdowns. He also had
I love
one.
it.
He also had one catch for -3 yards, meaning he had a total of 29 touches for 30 yards.
Did he get a touchdown every single game he played in? Like it was like I thought he.
I think it was either
because he was their
all
goal
but
line
all.
back.
He
Yeah,
did.
it was either all or
every single
most.
game he was registered, he got
Yeah.
a TD.
And then they said, "Hey, Jordan, thanks for playing." Anyway,
Oh my God!
so
Shades of
back to what
Zach
I'm.
Crockett.
Yeah, right. Back to what I was getting at. I mean, I too have been impressed with all three of those guys. I think and
And
Chris,
you're
you're
impressed
someone.
with 12 for 22 for 93 yards and a touchdown.
Well, that sounds like Baker
Like-
Mayfield's line from last week.
But it's not. It's Tua's line
From when?
from the LA Rams.
Okay, can you read me the other lines?
Let's see.
It can Tua
Uh,
run because I feel like he seems a little
Yeah.
flat-footed.
No, he can
I
run.
mean,
He doesn't
He's not
seem as
Kyler. He
didn't
can
seem
run.
Yeah.
well. Yeah, Kyler. The way Kyler runs is like
he can be
that is
shifty.
insane.
He's like
So
he's
shifty and quick.
he's a water bug quarterback. I mean, he
Yeah,
could
he
be
really
water bug of the
is.
year. He actually should be water bug of the year, shouldn't he?
I think that's a really good point. I think he should either him or Miles Gaskin's like a distant second.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler is definitely in the running for water
Kim-
bug of the year.
Kim, did you get those two stats up for us?
Yeah,
Pat?
I got him. I got him up here. So
Mm.
at Arizona, which was his best game, where he completed 71% of his passes, good. 20 for 28, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns. Excuse me, 122 QBR.
Ugh.
Which I said was his best game. Versus his first game versus LA Rams, 12 for 22.
Yeah. No, you
With
said
93
that one
yards and a
already.
touchdown, 54.55
Mm.
completion percentage.
Okay.
He was 60% the next week, week 10 versus LA Chargers, 15 for 25 for 169, 2 touchdowns. You know, and then last week, 11 for 20, 55%, 83 yards and a TD before he was pulled.
Okay. So these are the numbers of a rookie with a below average
That's
set of skill
been
positions.
disappointing.
He has not been disappointing at
Been
all.
disappointing.
I don't know how anyone could
He's
possibly say that.
underwhelmed. He's
I
underwhelmed.
gotta say I was shocked though that they decided to bench him. You know, like even in the because like they're kind of caught between trying to be a playoff team and like developing their QB. It's kind of a weird spot for them to be in. I can understand why they want to get Tua some good experience, but you know, it's just kind of like it's kind of weird. Like they're supposed to be developing him. Isn't it bad to like take him out of the game like for his development? I mean, it seems a little
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I thought it
confidence.
was a strange decision too.
Yeah.
I think that game felt like a trap game though. Miami was kind of due for a loss, and I think Denver is, Denver has had a rough
It's
season,
not
but
good. Drew Lock
not-
is terrible.
they're not as bad. They're not as bad as
That Miami
they've shown.
defense, which I
It was
thought
at
was
Denver,
good.
right?
Yeah, it was at
Was-
Denver.
Yeah, see, it's a difficult place
So
to
I
play.
mean, but I think I want to get back to
Yeah.
Herbert for a second because Tua is going to be fine, and Chris, you'll be proven wrong on that. But
Well, I didn't say he wouldn't
Burrow-
turn. I still have faith in Tua. Let's be clear
Mm.
here. I'm just saying he's underwhelmed thus far.
So Burrow was seen as sort of a slam dunk. I think Tua was seen as a slam dunk if he could stay healthy. I don't think by a lot of people Herbert was seen as a slam dunk, and I don't know if that's a West Coast thing and Oregon kind of bias. I remember being, I thought he was fine in college. I didn't think that he was spectacular by any means, but he's someone who has come in and really, the Chargers have still not managed to shed their curse, but he's someone who's come in and really like not missed a beat. I mean, he's looked really excellent for basically the entire, slate of his rookie career. Excuse me, of his rookie season. And so he's stepped in there and sort of looks like he's, been playing for a few years, as the cliche goes, and it's been impressive. I mean, Chargers have a good QB, and I think all three of these franchises have a good QB. I mean, Burrow, we just that godforsaken franchise. You just gotta hope
So
that
sad
is
when he went down.
And clearly, I saw something that mentioned like it's basically the same set of tears and injuries that Wentz had in 2017 before
And
his MVP.
look what
on his
happened to
MVP.
Wentz now.
So that's what I mean.
Wentz
So
is fucking terrible.
he's not been very good. Now I don't think that Burrow's going to regress like that, but it is concerning that he's got such a severe injury, and he was a spectacular rookie as well. I think in a lot of ways, I would say he was when you consider some of the defenses and everything else he was up against. I think in a lot of ways he was more impressive than Herbert, but they were both outstanding, and Herbert I think will continue to be. So I
I agree with
I
you.
I think Herbert's come up from from lower on the totem pole from people's expectations versus what there actually were. Like Sam said, he was definitely playing third wheel to Tua and Burrow. It was kind of an afterthought. I know some Chargers fans that were
They exist?
yeah, I know.
Los Angeles Chargers
Yeah,
fans?
they this one of my buddies from college, and he was so disappointed. He thought that they were going to trade up to get Tua,
Mm.
and when they were stuck with Herbert, he was like, man, he was like he was like glass half full. He was like, I think so, but he was just so upset that they didn't get Tua. That and then Tyrod was going to start. So, oh, we're not even going to see him until next year, sort of thing. Because Anthony Lynn was adamant that Tyrod was going to start.
He loves Tyrod.
2019, or excuse me, 2020.
Yeah.
Which
How
says
many
something
times
about
is
Anthony Lynn. Considering Herbert's been this good, like what were you not seeing?
Well, how
on the
many times
practice
has
field?
Tyrod played that like kind of caretaker role, and something always happens, and he always ends up like,
Happened in Cleveland
it's-
with Baker.
I think it happened in Buffalo too, right? Or am I imagining that? Maybe not.
It did. Yeah, it did happen in Buffalo.
With
And
who was the
I think
rookie?
it
No, not with Josh Allen.
Was it Josh Allen?
it
JP
would no,
Lossman?
it wasn't with a
JP.
no, it wasn't with a rookie, but it was with
Jim Kelly Jr.?
shit, who would it have been in like 20, was it with EJ Manuel?
No,
Maybe.
no.
I'm getting
It
all
was-
these horrible Bills
He
quarterbacks.
it
confused.
was supposed to be EJ Manuel, and I think Tyrod took his spot.
Right, that's what I mean though. And like but then he lost it back, I think. Anyway, whatever. It was something with the Bills where Simmons is right.
Brock Osweiler?
He was supplanted the same way that has been now, and with Cleveland. Yeah, it eventually did happen. But so I have a couple of targeted questions for both of you based on your teams. Simmons, I want to start with you. I can't believe I'm going to say this on a podcast out loud, and that's going to be broadcast to the world. But I want to talk about the Washington football team voluntarily on purpose.
I have a large
Now,
stake in that team.
you
sadly,
have now this
happily.
franchise has been for good reason up for many years, and they continue to kind of make fools of themselves off the field, and in many ways they have made fools of themselves on the field as well. They are tied for the division lead or whatever, a half game behind it, at a robust 3-7 with the rest of the NFC East. But you're right, you have a second-year receiver in Terry McLaurin and a rookie running back in Antonio Gibson, who who has had some very interesting and, dare I say, a little bit Alvin Kamara like usage with the way they've used Gibson. Probably not as much in the passing game. My question for you,
Unfortunately, not as much in the passing game.
yeah, sure, but he's I looked, he's like the RB9 or 10 in our system, so he's still been quite good. So my question for you, do you as something that, assuming that Alex Smith is not the QB of the future, which I don't think he is, do you see that are these guys who two parts, are these guys, has the level of production for each of these guys surprised you? Number two, do you think both of these people as singular talents with all of the football that you watch, and I know you've watched plenty of red zone and highlights and live games on their own, of this team because you have a stake in them.
I only watch
are these
mixtapes. I only watch NFL mixtapes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are these two players who can be good in their own right? In other words, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Do you feel like next year at this time, next August, we're looking at draft guides and whatever, and is Antonio Gibson is he a top 20 running back? Is Terry McLaurin a wide receiver one, top 8, 10 receiver?
Well, McLaurin flourished at times with Dwayne Haskins, but he also, at times I felt like he was held back by Dwayne Haskins. Like earlier in the year, he had a nice game with Dwayne Haskins. He had some like kind of subpar games as well. And at first I was a little concerned. And I still am kind of concerned about Alex Smith because I don't know. He hasn't historically like hyper targeted his wide receivers. So I'm not sure what the future holds in terms of QB for them, but I really think Terry McLaurin is like supremely talented. I think he's a great route runner, precision route runner. I think I touched on this a little bit last time, but yeah, he can go deep. Obviously, he's got jets, he's got burners. Um, great. He can catch the ball really well. I mean, these are all very technical terms. But no, he's like a complete wide receiver. He's like I honestly think he's one of the best young wide receivers in the league, probably like top 3.
Yeah.
Him, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. Um,
Hold on. You said top 3 and you've listed 3. You can keep going.
I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I'm leaving out. I know I'm leaving out another really good young wide receiver, but
I like listing 3 and then listing off like here's my top 3.
I was gonna list like 7 more. I couldn't think of any though. But no, I think I don't want to ramble too much, but no, and for him, I think he's not like completely, because we saw last year he was his rookie year, but when Haskins during the middle of Haskins's tenure, I guess when he started out, he connected with McLaurin a little bit, but then it was awful, and like I was like, oh, this is going to be awful. But then towards the end of the year, he connected with McLaurin again, similar that he did at the beginning. So I think he's not like I don't think he can make any quarterback, make his hay with any quarterback, but I think he's relatively quarterback proof in that regard. Now, in terms of Antonio Gibson, like I kept hearing about how he's an amazing receiver and he can do all these things, and he's like a hybrid receiver running back, and he's going to be split out wide and all this stuff. There's all this camp buzz and there's all this, Twitter buzz and everything. He's been used like in a pretty traditional way. I mean, you mentioned the Kamara thing. I agree. Like he kind of had that mold seemingly from what I saw, and he could be used in that way. But the problem is they're in love with JD McKissick and they pepper him with I think he had 14 targets the other week. And so it's kind of enraging, fantasy wise, of course, not in real life, but it's frustrating when you see this kind of blue chip talent with, he's durable and he can run between the tackles and also catch it and has a lot of speed, that he doesn't get used that much in the passing game. So I think it kind of caps his upside, and you can kind of see it through his game log. If it's a negative game script, McKissick is just getting peppered with targets. He's on the field all the time. You look at the snap counts, it's usually like 50-50. The last couple of weeks, they've been doing better. They had some leads or like kind of neutral game scripts. So Gibson has been on the field more. He's been doing more. He's been getting a touchdown every week for the last 4 weeks. But
Right.
I think he's going to be ranked pretty high if he continues on this pace and he's in the top 10. I think he'll be ranked as such beginning of next year.
I agree, and I have him in my keeper league. I think that
nice.
talent is there. I don't know why they still are trying to occasionally give the ball to Peyton Barber, McKissick, whatever.
Oh God! At the beginning of the year with Peyton Barber, I was like, "Oh my God!" But
I think Gibson. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say really fast. The sad thing is, I think I said this earlier, but I wanted David Montgomery over Gibson, so I kind of lucked into him.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, but that that's how it goes, right? I mean, like I think Gibson. I think that the potential is there, and I think he really does need to be getting 15, 18 touches a game. I do.
Yeah.
And when you consider, and Chris, I know you know this, I mean, when you consider that he really was a true hybrid player at Memphis, we talked about Memphis last time, but when you consider that he was a true hybrid, it is damn impressive the way he has kind of slid right into a franchise that, again, does not have a reputation for competence. I wouldn't say that's a super talented roster. And it's impressive how he's come in. With McLaurin, I mean, the thing that stands out to me with him is just how polished he is. And it seems like he came into the league like that, polished. You're talking about his route running, and he just seems like again, to kind of get back to the Herbert thing, he seems like he's already been in the league for a while. And when you consider that his college teammate, who was the more hyped guy, Paris Campbell at Ohio State. I mean, Paris Campbell got hurt this year. I think he had some flashes last year. So, it's way too early to make any kind of judgment on Paris Campbell. But I think we can say that, I think he went third round. I think Paris Campbell went second round, and McLaurin went third round in 2019 out of Ohio State. Campbell definitely the more hyped prospect at this point. He's got he's got some serious work to do to show that he's even going to be on the level of McLaurin, because McLaurin has been just excellent. Um,
Yeah, man. I mean,
there
I
is a stat somewhere that says that, like, if you don't fire your first year as a rookie, but especially if you don't fire as your second year, and it doesn't matter if you injure because of injury or whatever, it's just if you don't fire, that your chances of actually making it long term in the league are almost 0%.
except for Devontae Parker.
I doubt Paris Campbell. I doubt Paris Campbell actually is actually in the league in another 3 years. Unfortunately for me, because I was very high on Paris Campbell coming out. And doubling back to Antonio Gibson real quick, I want to say that for when he was at the combine, I want to say he was labeled a wide receiver at the combine. So this guy, like, he's somebody that definitely knows how to catch passes. And so it's strange to me that they are insistent on giving J.D. McKissick all this work. In fact, J.D. McKissick was on one of my short lists, one of his stat lines just the other week of just how inefficient J.D.
14
McKissick
targets.
is.
Was that the one?
Yeah, it's like he had like 19 total touches for like
Yeah.
45 yards.
Dude,
Yeah.
he had like 30
mean,
something targets in 2 weeks, in a
It's like,
2
what
or
the
3
fuck are
week
you
stretch
doing?
or something.
What like Ron? Or I don't know if it's Ron.
It's
It is
Alex
Ron
Smith.
Rivera
It's
doing
Alex
this because
Smith a little bit
he's
too.
putting J.D. McKissick in. I mean, it's partly Alex Smith who keeps doubling
peppering
down on
him.
him, but like what giving J.D. McKissick that much work that's never a recipe to win the game.
No.
And so I don't know. It's
14
must not be-
flabbergasted me.
14 targets is like Brandon Marshall numbers, like Brandon Marshall on the Broncos.
Yeah. You
For
see the targets
45
that
yards.
Robert Woods and Cup put up the
Dude,
other night?
it was unreal.
That was crazy.
That was
Goff
crazy.
was in the zone, man. He made some awful throws in those last couple drives, but Goff was just
Goff
like,
versus Brady career. Who do you got?
it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, Brady did get him in the Super Bowl, so, but I still think it's probably coin flip.
It's a conversation,
No,
man.
I think,
It's a
yeah, I think it's a
conversation.
draw.
Right, Cam?
Paris Campbell.
Yeah,
Paris
what?
Campbell, by the way,
2019 on.
It's
Chris,
just a troll.
Paris Campbell had a good first game, and then he blew out his knee. I'm not sure how you could say that he's like. I don't understand.
This isn't me talking, Sam. These are the stats. These are the stats talking. These are the facts
he
talking.
had a good first game though, and then he blew out his knee.
He had a good first game. So what? So what? You don't fire from one game. One game doth not
Okay.
call
I think that's
a
way
wide receiver that fires.
Does not a career make.
I think
Yes,
that's way
exactly.
way too premature. I mean, he had some good flashes
Dude,
last year.
how is this premature? We're talking a year, almost 2 years. Is it premature to call N'Keal Harry a bust? I mean, he was out for most
It's
of
not
the
almost
first
2
year.
years though. It's like 17 games, if that. That's too early to me. If he comes back next year and he's bad, then it's a conversation. But to me, to clearly be a bust, you need 2 full years of just not producing. That would be my baseline.
All right, so if he doesn't come back,
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
He's not going to come
yes.
back. So, like, okay, so you're saying it now instead of just
2 years.
January 1st.
2 years of playing, Christopher. 2 years of playing, not 2 calendar years. He can't play right now because he's hurt. 2 seasons.
Yeah, but that factors in. That factors in. You get hurt. That affects the way you play, that affects the way other teams perceive you. That affects the way other teams are going to utilize you
It
in
can. It
passing.
okay, it can, but I'm saying in this situation,
It's,
I'm I mean, he looked damn good, and in the Colts offense, they need like a big play guy. Michael Pittman has actually sort of emerged as that in the last few weeks. He's been
yeah,
pretty
and so
good for
what do you? What,
He's
Rivers.
good.
okay, if you're let's play this out real quick. If you are Colts front office, 2021 coming into the draft, what are you looking for? Wide receiver is high on your list. Defense is pretty much set.
No,
I
I don't think
think
so.
their defense is good.
They do have a good defense. They have
The,
Pittman and Campbell. I don't think you need a wide
no,
receiver.
you got Pittman, you got Pittman. Pittman so far is a hit. You
And you
got
have
aging T.Y. Hilton.
Campbell.
You and you got Paris Campbell, who as of right now is hurt, and you
Okay.
somebody you can't rely on. You think the front office is really looking? Oh yeah, we're going to be
Pittman
able to
was
rely
Pittman
on
was
Paris
hurt.
Campbell.
Pittman was hurt for a while. Yes, I do. I do think that. Look, I'm not saying he's
That's
not gonna.
foolish.
I'm not saying he's gonna pan out for sure. I'm telling you, it's too early to decide that. And we've got examples
Hey,
of
and I
how.
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I've got him in my dynasty league. I
Well,
drafted him. I drafted Paris Campbell in the first round of my dynasty league. So I hope I'm wrong. But as of right
well,
now, I don't.
I doubt whether you actually hope you're wrong because you like to be right. But I
No,
would
I hope
also
I'm
add.
wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I would
I
also
hope
add to
I'm
that
wrong.
that it feels like you're mad
I
at
would
him for being
love to come
injured.
hat in hand and say, Sam, you were right. I was wrong.
You would
It
not
just
love
doesn't
that.
happen. That scenario
Hat in
just doesn't
hand.
happen all that often.
Please, sir.
Meh,
Please, sir.
meh,
Come on.
meh, meh, meh.
Can you spare $1, sir?
Okay, so Kemp, my question for you related to your team. So I asked Ben about two guys on the same team, on the same real team that he's on, that are in his team, and I'll ask you the same. This is related to the Titans. We're not going to talk about Mike Vrabel at all. The team has been kind of up and down and a bit of a mess. Their defense is a disaster, and of course, Mike Vrabel is the defensive coach, but they rely oftentimes on their offense. For for someone who has Ryan Tannehill and who has Derrick Henry, how would you, at the 3/4 mark of this season, assess the way that they are using their skill players? And I would kind of nudge you toward mentioning maybe someone like on Ben's team, AJ Brown, who I know we've talked about a lot, but do you think that this offense is
Oh,
operating the way it needs to, or
AJ.
do you think that it needs to adjust?
I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say AJ Brown. You really don't need to say much more about him. Uh, I had him pegged as the top wide receiver coming into last year's draft. Um, Missed him
Look at what I'm
by
doing here.
one pick.
Some of
Um,
this.
yeah. No, I missed him by one pick, so I had to pick Paris Campbell. But
Mhm.
in any
Okay,
event, I think
now we're getting into
yeah,
why you don't like Paris Campbell.
yeah. So, I, but I'm going to switch it off and say I think that the real breakout story of the Tennessee offense has been Corey Davis,
Hmm.
who is quietly kind of coming into his own. I mean, I believe what was he, the fifth or sixth pick overall when he was drafted in 2017,
Hmm.
and I know I was high on him when he came out, and he's disappointed every single year,
Yeah, yeah.
and maybe this is that example, Sam, of a guy that can disappoint 2 years and then still turn out to be something. Because he was showing flashes. I know by
Mm.
his second
Yeah.
year, he was showing flashes
He's been
here and
good
there.
this year. He's been good.
He is doing good. I want to say, I mean, he's on
Devontae
pace for
Parker is another
a
example
thousand
of that
yards, and I
too.
think he missed.
That's a better example to me.
Devontae Parker though was like 4
Parker's
or
a really
5
good
years
example.
after
Yeah.
that was like
And
a kind of an
Devontae Parker hasn't really hit like he got
What?
last year. All
No,
right,
Parker's good.
he
I think
got last
last
year.
year is
Let's just
enough.
say, not to do spoilers here, but I want to say he is in the he's on the short list of the Braylon Edwards Don't Take the Bait Award for
Okay,
2019.
that's fine.
But let's say that Devontae had Ryan Fitzpatrick the whole season. I mean, he probably would put up at least like 1,000 yards, 7, 8 touchdowns this
I mean,
year.
he did last year, didn't he? That's what he
Yeah, I
did
mean, he
last
did
year.
last year. I'm saying like, if you want, I mean, I could say if you're like, oh, just one good year, but he would have had a good statistical year this year as well. You would think if
I
Fitzpatrick had
also think when Tua develops, he'll be
stayed as
fine.
QB.
Let's get back to Corey Davis for a second.
Yeah,
I would differentiate a little bit, Kemp, because Corey Davis's issue was not that he was hurt; it was that he was on the field and he wasn't very good. I don't think when he was the fifth overall pick. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was the fifth overall pick, I think, out of Western Michigan.
Yeah, I want to say you're
I
right on
mean,
that.
flashes is not going to cut it if you're the fifth overall pick, right? You got to be better than the flashes. I don't mean look. Let's be clear. There's no chance he's ever going to be the one in that offense. Like AJ Brown is about as much of a wide receiver one alpha as you can get. But I
He's
agree
so
with you.
good.
He's been like a really good complementary option. What do you think about the way that they, in game? Because I personally think it's very strange sometimes the way they use Henry. Now it's worked out in some cases, but do you kind of have any other thoughts on how they use their backs or
I
tight
think
ends?
when you got somebody like Derrick Henry who's just a fucking freight train, you just feed him the ball, and you see that. I mean, he's got the most carries of any running back. He's got the most yards of any running back. He's got the most overall touches of any running back in
Hmm.
2020. So I mean, they're just doing the whole Pittsburgh with Le'Veon Bell, but just running him into the ground. Um, I think when you have somebody like that that's as big as that once you get him going, who can also do like a 1-2 move and be able to he's got a little stutter in his step.
little shimmy.
Yeah, he's got a little something there, for being
Got
a
a little
200
wiggle in
and
the
almost
caboose.
250-pound guy, a running back. Like he's a monster.
What's the
And
thing? What's the
once
thing they
you
Fancy
say?
footwork.
He weighs as much. He's the exact same height and weight as Von Miller.
He's
oh god,
389 pounds and 7'5".
like you give that guy a runway to go off of. Like I'm not going to want to tackle, me being all pro, you know, secondary guy.
Mm.
I don't want to tackle him,
I
like I'm
just
running away.
I just imagine Kemp as like a DB, like a really muscle
Yeah,
DB,
Yeah,
like to tackle.
I'm running away. I'm not going after him. All right, take it. Like
Kim
let me.
Kim comes up from free safety like, oh my hammy.
Oh,
Oh
I want
God,
to
coach,
see it. I want to
coach.
see a deep fake with Kemp's face on like a
Uh,
DB's, like on Eric Weddle's face when he's trying to tackle Derrick
yeah.
Henry.
I'm like that. I'm like that kid from the Little Giants that's like running away from Spike, but Spike like
I'll
still
pick
plows right over him.
I'll pick a random guy that it makes sense to have a deep fake up for Kemp on as a DB. Eric Weddle.
Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel actually he looks like your older brother, Kemp.
Mike
Vrabel.
Vrabel's he's a handsome guy, and he knows how to
Simmons,
coach.
why did you do that?
He
I'm
really does.
sorry,
I'm
but
so
it's
glad.
just
No, I'm so glad you brought him up because let me just point out
Can I say something
after
about Derrick Henry though, real fast? I want to finish the point because I don't think we were done talking. The reason I kind of was asking you about that, and let's be all due respect, I don't give a fuck about Mike Vrabel, but
well, let me.
because Derrick Henry is such a star this year, what I find
oh, he's
interesting is
great.
that I would compare the usage that the Titans have with him game to game to it's almost like a slow cooker or a crock pot where they just like simmer and simmer and simmer and you look up
Hmm.
and it's like halftime and he's got five and then like if I'm watching red zone or whatever, I'm watching a game on the screen and the Titans game isn't really coming on, then I'll go back and look at the box score in the late third quarter and it's like he's got 17 carries. So it's like they really do a good job. And I'm giving credit to Mike Vrabel here. I mean, I think they do a good job with that team of not force feeding him in a way that some teams do, where it's like, okay, right, the old Wanstead Ricky Williams, where it's like, okay,
Oh
we're gonna
god,
give
like
you, we're gonna
45
give you,
carries in a game.
and we're gonna give you 22 in each half. Like, if they're gonna give him 28, I think they're really wise if they can afford to do it with the game script. Simmons, you're talking about neutral game script versus, positive and negative. If they can stay in something that's either neutral or positive and they don't have to turn to the passing game, I think they're wise to kind of divvy that up. So, you're shooting for maybe
Hmm.
30% in the first half and 70% in
See,
the second half. And I think that's been really smart management of Henry because it's allowed him to peak and have some of these runs that Kemp is talking about at
mhm.
really key times in the game.
They kind of
And
warm him
I will,
up.
I
They
will
warmed him
say,
up.
I was that's an observant point, Sam, because I can't tell you how many weeks I'm looking at the box score and I'm like, oh my God, what?
He's got
Like,
like
why
5
aren't they
carries.
using,
Yeah.
why are they not using Derrick Henry? What the fuck?
Mhm.
I feel like
And
he's
then you
had
come back
multiple
later and it's
walk-off
like,
overtime winning
now he's
touchdowns,
got
hasn't
70
he?
yards, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, God, really go. And then you come back and he's got 80 yards. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I
he's
should have
like got
drafted
110,
him.
120,
He seems like a fun player to own in fantasy.
He also does seem like I can't think of another player who, I mean,
He's like, you're not going to get any catches from
see,
him.
that's why I can't own, like,
Yeah,
I'm
like
fundamentally opposed to a player
if
like
he's
that.
not doing good on the ground, then
He's
you're
got those
like,
dinner
fuck, I'm
plate hands,
fucked.
huh?
Well,
You
it's not
know,
even, I don't
Got
even think it's dinner plate hands. I think they
the
just don't use
paddles.
him. I think they
Yeah, I
just
mean,
don't
he
use him.
catches his. Like, they threw to him last week, but yeah, he looks a little awkward catching it. But
He does seem like the kind of player though, and I can't remember any other player, any other running back being like this since I started following football really, who it's like if he gets into that rhythm where he's just like it's like 7 or 8 yards minimum, it's like it's almost like that gets stuck in the defense's head where it's like if they can't tackle him on that first run of the drive, it's like they're just not going to tackle him, right? And it's as though
what did I tell?
their
Yes,
confidence is
the guy's
is
a fucking
completely
bowling ball,
shot.
man.
Right.
You're not going to get him down.
Right.
He is
But
so
yeah,
big.
I do think it's smart usage. I will say if I can offer one thing that I noticed, and there's been a lot of just under this sort of threshold. AJ Brown has not had 10 targets all season,
I've noticed that.
and I'm sure you have, Simmons. I just
I don't
that's
like it.
and I would say too like it's really if we're talking about Ole Miss guys, we talked about them last time I know, but it's very strange usage for Metcalf and Brown. Metcalf's is more like either 4 or 14, and Brown's is always like has been steadily at like 7, 8, or 9. I feel like you got to give both those guys 12 to 13 targets. You have to make a point in the game plan. It doesn't matter what the game script is. I don't care if you have Derrick Henry. I don't care if you have Russell Wilson and all these like guys like Lockett
Mhm.
and Carson and whomever. David Moore, I guess, as a decent third receiver.
He's good.
I
Yeah.
just feel like you have to bake in, just like you do with Julio, just like the Lions used to do with Megatron. You have to say these guys are getting 12 to 13 targets. Now that may not yield 8 or 9 catches, but we have to have some level of target share that speaks to their abilities.
A Randy
But
ratio.
but Sam,
There you go.
don't you have to
Yeah.
involve Ferkser? Ferkser has to get his, Sam.
Yeah.
Don't you
Yeah.
realize?
Mike Vrabel sitting there in the coaches' room in the coaches' meeting on like a Wednesday.
Ferkser.
Guys, how do we get Ferkser involved?
Ferkser. He's
Well,
been getting targets,
Johnny
strangely.
Smith's also really good.
Yeah,
Really
Johnny
good. I
Smith.
He's
mean,
very
in the
good.
tight end sphere
He
of
makes a
things.
lot more sense to get involved than Ferkser.
Yeah.
Does
Or
Ferkser have a first name?
Jeremy McNichols. Why is he on a team? I'm just kidding, Sam. I know he's the Kemp guy.
Oh God, yeah,
He's their
he's
second string running back right now.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
worked
yeah.
his
And
way up.
He took
Brian
advantage
Hill with
of
Atlanta. I mean, let's not.
Darrington Evans getting hurt.
Well, I mean,
It's
let's
true.
not take the L for those two guys that I've been championing.
Who's the guy in Denver you used to like a lot?
Royce Freeman.
Yeah, how's he doing these days?
Is he
I
on
think.
IR? I want to say he got put on IR.
Well, he might as well be.
He
got hurt.
might be
He got
on
hurt.
IR, yeah.
Like, according to Sam, injuries don't count. Injuries you can't. You got to discount
I don't think
everything.
that's what I said. I don't.
If you're injured, that you just erase that season. That season
According,
doesn't count.
according to Chris,
So
when you get hurt, your
2020
career
doesn't count for Royce Freeman.
when you get hurt, your career is over per Kemp.
Yeah.
So Now,
But yeah, so
Royce
but
Freeman
the
could resurface
Titans,
somewhere.
yeah,
Never
the
mind.
Titans and Mike Vrabel last week, they went to go shake hands after he had beaten John Harbaugh. He went to go shake John Harbaugh's hand. Say, oh yeah, hey man, yeah, that was a tough game. Sorry we beat you. Hey, put her there, pal. And he went to go shake his hand, and John Harbaugh says, "Fuck off, get out of here. I don't want to shake your hand. You're an asshole,"
good.
and wouldn't shake
Respect.
his hand.
Respect.
Wouldn't she? Why does he think he's an asshole?
Well, I was kind of reading lips a little bit, so
Okay, so you
it's
don't
not
know any of the
certain
specifics.
that that's what was said.
Mm.
But I assume
Now,
that those were the pleasantries that were
I can't
exchanged
believe that
Hey,
there.
you're not
fuck off, asshole.
Yeah.
I can't believe that you're not an investigative journalist. I think that was your calling.
Well, I would have done a lot of things differently if I could have done it
Kemp
The
over again.
Kemp report. I can see the website with the Kemp report.
Kemp
Like,
explaining to his
that'd be
editor.
awesome.
Well, the quotes, he didn't say that, but in my mind he said it. So I put it in the story.
I read his lips. I'm a
A
lip
little
reader.
bit, yeah.
But
But
so,
I mean, who doesn't shake a
There
hand?
was like
Who
they
doesn't
didn't
fucking shake a hand,
they did
right? Like,
so he tried to shake his hand and he wouldn't shake
yeah,
his
he
hand.
tried to
Oh,
shake his
how
hand,
did I
and
miss that?
John Harbaugh told him to fuck
Wow.
off.
Wow.
so I
That's
Yeah,
not cool. That's not
I
cool.
have
that's
a I
not
have
cool.
I have
I
a
agree with
game.
you on that.
I have a game to, and I was gonna.
But that's
Since I
like the
think I had
Harbaugh way, because Jim Harbaugh is equally a petty asshole. So
Actually, he was an asshole. He was the best coach the Niners have had in the past. Well, actually, Shanahan's really good too. What am I saying?
I
who
don't
was
think
I
coaches.
talking
I don't
to
think coaches
that
should be shaking
gave the
hands.
argument that Jim Harbaugh was
Mm.
actually not a good coach for San
He hasn't.
Francisco?
He hasn't been at Michigan. He was great in the NFL, but he hasn't
Yeah,
been.
he
At
Well,
was.
just because
He's
he left
excellent
when
in
he
the NFL.
left the team, he left them in shambles.
I mean, he didn't make. He wasn't the GM. He was just like he really just was.
True, but
He tired guys out. Like he was just relentless, and he was grating. I think that's true for
yeah,
sure. Like I read
I
this
can
long
definitely that's a
article,
good adjective.
a long
Grading.
article about him. I think it was in Sports Illustrated. It was just like this long expose, and it was just talking about how all the players were
Would
tired
you
and
take
like
him back over Kyle Shanahan?
no. Although maybe we should talk about what the Niners are going to do with Jimmy G because
Can,
it's on the Niners
I don't know.
group chat. It's been a topic of conversation.
I want to.
Yeah,
I want to.
I don't know what. To be honest, I don't know what. That's a
See,
sticky situation because like you gotta think that they're gonna be what, like 15, 16 in the draft. Like where are they gonna be picking?
Oh, we're making the playoffs, man.
So they'll probably be like in the 17,
Actually,
18.
that's not going to happen.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, yeah, it's not going to happen. I wish
So
we would. I mean, you might be right,
But
Ken.
even
Go
then,
ahead,
it's
Sam.
going to
Were
be
you going to
like
say?
like you're not going to be in a position to draft a first round quarterback. I mean, you could get
Sure.
lucky and hit on like the next Russell Wilson in the third round if that exists. But
I trust in Lynch and Shanny, Lynchy and old
so
Lynch
you're only and I think
and Shanny June.
Garoppolo is there for another year, isn't he? Like
Yeah, they can
he doesn't
cut
have
him
any
for like
guaranteed
nothing
money, or
now.
the guaranteed money is like minimal. So like I guess conceivably they could cut him because they wouldn't be
Hmm.
losing anything.
Yeah,
But
he's like
they don't have
Garoppolo's
anybody else to go to.
he's like a beautiful,
So
fragile
good
piece of
looking.
china.
So good
You
looking.
know, he's like
Um,
it's all aesthetics with that guy. He's a very handsome man, but he's just he really is. I think he's been kind of exposed in the early part of this year, and I
I'm
mean,
kind of
although
with
his he had a high ankle sprain, he came back a little too early. He was a statue in the pocket. I get all that, but like when he first came to the Niners, I feel like they used him a little differently. He was more mobile. He was I don't know. Remember those first 7 games that one year when they traded for him? I think he won
I mean,
every single
he went
game or
nuts.
like
And he still has like he's got such a quick release too. Like
it's true, but
his
I
like
mean he's great in the short passing game. He's great, and he was
you know
great. To be fair, like he was good coming back from some of those games last year, but I can't. And I'm trying to like I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but it's just like what
he
if
doesn't do
he's
anything for
what
you.
if he's doing this? What if he's performing as he did earlier this year, next year? Like what? Then there'll be another year down the drain. Like this team is built to like vie for a championship, not to
Not
wait
this year. They're not.
Garoppolo.
They got too many.
Well, they had too many injuries, but at the
Yeah,
beginning of the
they're
year, they were supposed to be a Super Bowl team. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and the fact that Bill Belichick, like there's clamor in Patriot circles
Just
about Bill
watching Sam's
Belichick wanting
face
him.
react to the
Like, oh man,
Belichick
he's
thing.
gonna if they drop him. And now I'm so kind of like, I got a lot of things on Bill
What
Belichick, but
about
I'm
Cam Newton?
salty on that I'm like, you know what? If Bill Belichick wants him, then I'm really starting to I'm starting to question whether that's a good move, because he's been so bad as a GM the last decade that I can't.
How many
Hey,
Super Bowls have
Sam,
you guys won in the last decade?
Sam.
Hold on. Sorry.
Sam
Oh,
fell asleep.
Hey, we're talking here. We're talking
yeah,
football.
I'm sorry.
You've
Let's
won like
go.
what three
It's a long,
Super
long
Bowls in
day.
the last decade, and
Yeah, but
he's been so bad.
What a disappointment.
I'm talking about being a GM. So like building your team,
Let
building
me
your
ask you.
roster.
I'm going to throw out a completely reckless trade proposal for you here, okay? Because let's say that Shanahan does want a better quarterback than what Garoppolo can offer. If the Jets picked up the phone, if the Niners picked up the phone and said to the Jets, "Give me a pick number. What is it? 18, 16?
Mm. You said
Okay.
15, right, Kim?
15, sure, 15.
Yeah, let's just say 15.
So they call the Jets and they say, "We'll give you pick 15
For Sam Darnold.
and Nick Bosa for the number 1 pick." And the Niners take Trevor Lawrence. Would
You
the
said
Jets do that?
Sam Darnold? Wait, who'd you say?
No, Nick Bosa and Nick Bosa and the 15th pick for the top pick.
Oh, sorry, Kim threw me
Would
off.
the Niners do that? Or excuse me, would the Jets do that?
The Jets wouldn't do that.
You don't think so?
No, if they have the number 1 pick, like that's untouchable. You don't trade that for anything.
Not to get Bosa though. You don't think they do that already having
Not
Darnold?
not when it's Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
That's the QB.
You could no. I'm thinking out loud here because I do think Shanahan needs.
Sam
If the new
Darnold would be the
system to
trade
work.
chip there.
Well,
we don't want Sam Darnold. Hell no, man. But
That's-
you might be
yeah.
he
I
might
think
he
he
might
can
be
be
better
salvaged.
somewhere else. Yeah, he might be able to be salvaged, but I don't.
Look what Ryan Tannehill happened to Ryan Tannehill after he got away from
Honestly,
Adam
if
Gase.
this is a kind of out of left field, but if the Cowboys
By the way,
don't,
speaking of not giving up on people, Ryan Tannehill, another example.
that's a good point. Yeah. It Dak Prescott. If somehow something goes wrong with that, like I would definitely invest in him with the Niners offense, man. Like that, because
Dak with Shanahan would be amazing.
the dual threat quarterbacks.
Dude, can you
I've been looking
imagine
at them
what Shanahan would have done with like 2012 Kaepernick or 2011 Kaepernick? Dude,
Oh,
Shanahan,
God.
that would have been ridiculous.
Kaepernick.
What's
the problem
the
he
status
wasn't
on
as
Dak?
as a
What's the status
precision
on Dak? Is he
passer,
free
but
agent?
he probably will be franchised
He
if they
got
don't sign him
tagged.
to.
He got tagged this
He
year.
got tagged for this year, but if they don't sign him to a big one next year, he'll get tagged again, most likely, I guess.
So he's going to
But
be like 50 million next year.
they'll probably sign him to they'll probably try to offer him what they offered him this year, because he's coming off of a horrific, disgusting looking injury that almost made me
If you're
puke up
Dak, do
my
you take that?
chicken
really bad.
samosas that I was eating at the time.
Yeah.
Romo was like, "It might be a cramp, Jim," and I was like, "Dude, it's not a cramp." Did you
God.
hear that? I think his leg's cramping up. His leg is like this.
Oh God, dude. I like Romo, but I feel
Tony-
like
Tony,
the
what do you think
Romo
a
love
cramp-
has gotten a little bit too
Yeah, he's
extreme.
taking a step back. He got paid, and now I don't think he's nearly as good this year.
I
as
think
he
he's
was
good, but
last year.
he's just so damn excitable and giddy. He's just like I
But
don't know.
he doesn't call out plays the way he did last year. Like he doesn't do
I think
that
he's
shit
fine.
anymore.
I don't have an issue with him, but I did think
I mean,
I did
yeah,
have
no,
I
he's
did have
better
an
than
issue
he's
with
better
him.
than Phil
I
Simms.
like
I had an
him, but
issue
he
with him
just
in that
can be a
moment.
little
Dude,
annoying
he's
sometimes.
better than Phil Simms. Wow, what praise?
No, well, I'm saying what I'm saying. I said that tongue in cheek. A,
Okay.
B.
Mm.
I was like, yes, he is good. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's taken a step back. Was my point.
Yeah, maybe
that
I'm being
I
a
feel
little
like
too critical. He's still he's better than like 90% of play-by-play guys.
Kim,
but-
are you chewing gum
Yeah. Yeah.
like MJ? Is
yeah.
that like an MJ thing? Like when you podcast, you chew gum?
My big
Oh,
My
nice.
big thing
Ice
of-
cubes.
of ice cubes. It's
I
like
thought you were doing big league chew. Remember that?
100
That's
pieces.
Strange.
I'm addicted.
Okay,
to
good.
gum
Well,
chewing.
so I'm going to go ahead and induct a box score into the Gaudy Hall of Fame. We've put the Browns and Bengals in there from '04. That was 58 to 48. So, gentlemen, let me put you in the time machine and take you back to November 1st, 2015. The scene, the Louisiana Superdome. The competitors, the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. The final score of this game, 52 to 49, 101 total points,
Wow.
tied for fifth most in NFL history. The two quarterbacks that day, gentlemen, Drew Brees and Eli Manning, both Super Bowl champions, combined for 855 passing yards and 13 touchdowns. So we're going to play a game.
Wow.
Here's a game for you, okay? The game, gentlemen, is as follows: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different players in that game. There were no rushing touchdowns in the
Did
game.
one of them have 7 touchdowns?
Drew Brees had 7 touchdowns.
What the fuck?
7 different
I
players.
forgot about this game.
7 different players had receiving touchdowns that day. Four of those 7 had multiple touchdowns caught. Let's do a little trivia time on Gaudy stats and see if you guys can go back and forth and name the guys who caught these passes. 2015 Giants and Saints. Camp, we'll start with you.
Brandon Cooks.
Ah,
Brandon Cooks had 2 touchdowns. He's one of the 4
Easy.
guys who caught 2. Simmons.
Marquise Colston?
Marcus Colston had 1 touchdown. That's two of the guys down, 5 to go. Kemp.
Willie Snead.
Willie
Wait,
Snead.
He's looking at his computer.
No,
Could be cheating.
I'm thinking of guys like what? Does anybody need to know Willie
Hold on.
Snead?
Look in his glasses and see if you can see a box score, Simmons.
All right, enhancing. He's looking at the stat. He's looking at.
He's got a box
Football
score right in
Reference.
front of him.
No,
Willie Snead
that's
is
fine. That's fine.
Willie Snead is correct. Willie Snead had 2 receiving touchdowns.
Amani Toomer.
Amani Toomer in 2015?
Just kidding.
No.
Uh,
Amani Toomer is not correct.
Plaxico Burris. Is he around?
Plexico Burr is also not correct. You guys are missing a pretty big name who had 3 touchdowns.
And is it my turn?
I'm just taking
Uh,
like 3 turns in a row. So go ahead.
Yeah, Kim.
Odell.
Odell Beckham had 3 touchdowns.
God, he's been around. He's been around for a while. I don't think I realized.
He wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, we have. Okay, now we get a little.
Odell
more,
had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Now we get a little more obscure here,
I
lads.
think you even had him
we
that
have
year. I don't know.
we have 1 Saint and 2 Giants players. One of whom, 1 Giant caught 2 passes, 2 touchdowns.
Jeremy Shockey.
No. Simmons, you're going way too far back here. 2015 was only 5 years ago.
Having too much fun. There's one. It's the guy who used to do the salsa in the end zone. I can't remember his name. But,
Victor Cruz, no, not him.
Oh my God.
I was gonna guess him.
One of these
Um,
guys though is near and dear to your heart, Ben. He's a pass catching running back.
Oh, Darren Sproles.
Mm-mm.
What?
Giants.
Oh,
He played on the Pats before the Giants.
Kevin Falk? No.
No.
Oh, I know. It's Shane Vereen.
Shane Vereen is correct.
God, I forgot that
I
was.
missed that.
Two more guys. One of them caught two. I don't think you guys will ever guess this guy, but you guys can just do free for all now because
This
one
is
of-
on. This is
one
the
of-
Saints.
one is
There's
a
2
tight end.
guys.
Is
One is a
Brandon
tight end.
Coleman one of them?
no, not that obscure. One is a tight end on the Saints. One is a receiver on the Giants. The Giants guy is more obscure.
I think there's no way I'm gonna get the Giants guy. Tight end for the Saints. Let's go back, Kemp. Who are the tight ends for the last 5 years to the Saints? This is gonna be fun. So obscure.
Fuck. I think I know who it is.
This guy played on the Pets too, by the way.
Oh God, everyone played on the damn Pats.
Michael Manawanui.
I wish that were the answer so I could say yes, but no.
Please say that again.
Yeah.
Michael Manawanui. It starts with an H.
Is that the correct pronunciation?
Trust me, I know
Okay.
I know my Patriots.
Okay, well I don't, but go ahead. That's not right.
Um,
I think you might need to tell us, man, because
no, hold on.
This is great podcasting here. Okay.
Hold
Yeah.
on, hold
Clock
on.
starts at 10.
God, what is it?
You're not gonna get the
It's
giant.
like a double alliteration. It was like
Nope.
a P
Nope.
alliteration.
Nope. The Saints tight end is Benjamin Watson.
I knew that.
The Giants receiver you definitely probably weren't going to get is Dwayne Harris. Dwayne Harris is
that
touchdown.
one.
Didn't he have like a huge game for the Cowboys at one point? He had like 3 touchdowns or something.
Maybe
I'm thinking of somebody else.
did he play the Cowboys? Okay, so we're inducting
Special teamer.
that stat line into the Hall of Fame, an all-time shootout game. Another question for you guys, rapid fire here. You
I
can't
can't wait
talk
to
about
get my shootout game for 2020. It's
okay,
already
cool,
in the books.
great. Okay, so you can't talk about anybody on each other's teams or on my team. Who is someone that you wish you had on your team this year? And I don't mean like, oh, I wish I had, Patrick Mahomes. I mean like you watch him play and just like the combination of stats and like kind of the, like you guys were saying earlier, the kind of fun factor of like it's fun to have this person on your team.
Yeah.
Who's somebody not on any of our 3 teams that you had? Ben, go.
Tyreek Hill.
Okay,
I've
tell me why.
I've had him in the past, and he's so fun to watch. The guy is like a cat on the field. He's so quick, and he's just filled with energy. He's like a little sprite, just running around. Little Lilliputian out there. Just I can't get enough, man. I love watching the guy play, and he's been killing it this year. He's been consistent, and he's been blowing up. Like his floor is higher than he usually is in the past. And he's had these blow up games, and you're playing for the Chiefs offense, which is just fun to watch in general. So he's definitely in my vote.
It does seem like, and I mean that we're recording this on a Tuesday, 2 nights earlier. Raiders Chiefs had a really fun Sunday night game, and I came away pretty impressed with the Raiders there. I thought Carr played excellent. I mean, there was never really any doubt at the end there that Mahomes was going to go down and
That
at least
was
tie the game and probably
that was
score a
amazing.
touchdown. But it does seem like, excuse me, from a completely amateur coaching perspective, non-existent coaching perspective, just being a fan, it seems like when you line up Kelsey and Hill with their sort of complementary skill sets to one another, there's just like no way that a defense can guard both of them on the same play. I swear,
No,
at least one of them is open on every freaking play,
they've got
and
so much
Mahomes just gets to
speed.
pick basically.
Like with McCole Hardman, Robinson, like all those guys. Yeah, and like Kelsey, it's just they were talking about it. They were breaking it down, like when they line them up, like you said, like on one side of the field, and it creates so many mismatches. And Hills just runs free all the time. He's just like I don't know. It's crazy, but it's been a joy to watch. What about you, Kemp? I can see you. You're like so far down now. You're like underneath the table.
Well, I was slumping there.
Mm.
I'm kind of torn here. I've got 2 guys in particular. And one,
Okay,
I
well,
was going to go
we asked
Tyler
for one,
Boyd
but okay.
because
Consistent.
he's one of these guys that is just set it and forget it. With Joe Burrow, you never had to worry about him. He was going to get like 8 catches. Yeah, I know. It is sad.
I'm doing a crying mime. No, I'm not being a mime because I'm talking, but that's what I was doing.
But since that, so I want to go him, but since Tyler Boyd, we don't know what's
Since
in store for him.
Ryan Finley's going to be throwing him the ball now.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
my confidence in him is somewhat shaken. So I'm actually going to go Deontay Johnson.
Mm.
I think he's
Antonio Brown 2.0.
Yeah, I think he is just totally quietly usurped the alpha role in Pittsburgh, and Big Ben just loves him some Deontay
What did he
Johnson,
go
just
for in our
peppering
draft?
with
Like,
targets.
like I
I
feel
wanna
like he
say he
went
went
for
for-
really low. Like
He did, and and this is
Chad got
another
him.
thing that bugs me to no end, because he was one of my sleeper guys going in, and I'm like, all right, target him, and this happens every fucking year where I'm like, all right, target this guy as sleeper guys, or whoever my sleeper guy is, and then before I know it, I'm like, oh shit, I don't have any money left, or like, oh, I'm down on money, and I get outbid. I do it every year. I've got to start, getting more disciplined on my money management. But
He went for
Deontay
$7,
Johnson,
by the way.
Tell me more about your problems. I want.
I don't know.
I can be your
Deontay Johnson,
psychotherapist.
he had 12 receptions, I want to say on 16 targets.
Yeah.
He's getting targeted like crazy.
When he's
like,
in the game,
at least 10 targets
he
every
had
game.
he had a few games there where he didn't play, and that's when Chase Claypool really stepped up.
10 total touches.
Fugazi.
41 touches for Chase Claypool, 10 touchdowns. I feel like Claypool and Deontay are like the co-alphas right now. And
Yeah.
Juju has not been bad by any stretch, but compared to what he was supposed to be, Juju has definitely been a disappointment. But he's still fine. I mean, Juju hasn't been bad at all.
Well,
He's still like
he got hurt by stepping on a flag on the
I
ground,
saw that.
which is
Yeah,
kind of funny.
he's
but
still like a top
he's doing good.
20. I think he's the. I looked him up. I think he's the wide receiver 23 right now in our scoring system. So he's
It's not that bad. It's a
Deontay?
wide
that's
receiver too.
he's on Mike and Dan. Okay, so we have Tyreek Hill, who actually that's Mike and Dan, Shanahanigans, and then Deontay is Chad's, which is Watson Siri love child.
That's
So
a great name.
I feel need to call out the team names here.
Do
Let me
it.
ask you
Why
guys
not?
another one here, because when we wrap up the year, we're going to be thinking more about the year in review, and we won't necessarily, at least in the Gaudis, be looking ahead. Let's fast forward to August of 2021. Okay, we've got a vaccine. Things are not such an unrelenting dumpster fire in this country on a number of levels. It's time to play football again. People can actually go into the audience. Yada yada yada. You're looking at your rankings, Kemp. You're setting up your Excel sheet, toggling between various other tabs of explicit content and your rankings. Simmons, you've got your sheet up there.
Got 2 kids.
Who are
I'm very offended by that. I have
Yeah,
two
I'm a
kids.
family
How dare
man.
you?
Dude, that's
Who
Talking
are
my honor.
who are the top 4 skill guys at each position, running back and receiver, in terms of where they'll be ranked going in? Not your rankings, but what the consensus will be. Kemp, I'll start with you. Running backs, top 4 running backs for 2021.
All right, so I think you're gonna have to. I still think Christian McCaffrey is going to be your running back 1.
Okay.
He just brings too much to the table. He's an all everything running back. Alvin Kamara is going to be up there as probably number 2, maybe even a 1A situation.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wants to say, I want to say Zeke. If Dak Prescott is with the Cowboys, Zeke's still going to be in there. And the 4th one, I'm just gonna go ahead and say Derrick Henry on that because I mean, the wear and tear is relevant. I do get it, but if he's on Tennessee with another year with nobody else behind him,
Let
where
me
he's
back
just
up.
gonna be
You're
hogging the limelight, so you got to have him.
so you don't think I'm not trying to play gotcha here because I put you on the spot. You don't think Dalvin Cook is in the top 4 next year?
Yeah, I was thinking Dalvin
Oh
Cook.
shit! Oh wow! How did I forget
Have you
that?
looked at his game log, the
Yeah,
fantasy
Dude,
points?
I was going to
good
ask you.
lord.
He's
Yeah,
unreal.
then fuck Derrick Henry. Put Dalvin Cook in
Okay,
there.
all right. Well,
Um,
so much for this being
and
a
actually
family
put him
show.
ahead of Alvin Kamara.
Wow, you have
Put him
kids,
ahead of
man.
Zeke as well.
So
That's funny.
you'd go McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Zeke. Okay, Simmons.
McCaffrey. Yeah, McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara.
Kamara, Zeke.
We're doing
Simmons.
running backs.
Yeah, running backs.
Okay.
What you think the consensus will be, not your own preference.
Yeah, I think the consensus is going to be Dalvin Cook number 1
Mhm.
because he's just been so consistent and like the whole and much like McCaffrey to be fair, the whole offense is built around him. Like they've made it very clear. Like you're going to be the fulcrum, you're going to be the engine. Those are two different parts of the car, I think, but you're the engine to our offense, Dalvin Cook, and we're going to build everything around you. And the coaches come out and said it. They don't want to do as much passing as they did with Filippo, whatever his name was, last year when they were just Cousins
Mhm.
was like completing like 40 passes a game and doing crazy little short passes, which I love to watch. But they're just gonna pound it with Cook year in and year out, and he's young enough and he gets so many touches. It's insane. Like you look at his carries
Oh,
for the past like 4 weeks.
he's
30,
clear.
22, 30, 27. It's just
Yep,
like
he's the clear fantasy MVP for 2020. I don't
he
think
had
there's any question about it.
he had 53 fantasy points on November 1st and then followed
Oh,
that
I
up
know.
next week with 42.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
unreal. So
like 19 is like a low number for him.
who would your 2 through 4 be?
Okay, then I'm gonna go Alvin Kamara
Mm-hmm.
for some of the reasons already stated,
Yep.
just the passing work. And then I'm unsure about Ezekiel. I think he's on his back 9. So I'm gonna go Christian McCaffrey
Really? You
3.
think he's on his back 9? Oh, hold on.
He's
How
a
old
running
is he?
back. I feel like he's like
How
That's a
old is
golf.
he?
It's a golf term, Chris.
he
Golf.
looks slower, man.
Yeah.
He looks slower to me, but that's just my take. And then Derrick Henry 4th.
Okay, so you would put Henry ahead of Zeke, but you guys have the same top 3 in a different order.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's 25 years old.
Yeah, but he's like
Lot
Zeke
of
is
lot of
25 years
mileage.
old.
Lot of mileage though.
he just but does he look spry to you? I mean, I guess if the
I think
offensive line comes
he
back
quit. I
healthy,
think he's packed it in. He's a businessman. Dak got hurt. He's packed it in. He's not
he's a
playing.
businessman. You
But you
might
know
be
what I'm saying?
right.
Like he's not going to be like, I'm not going to go out there and like risk getting injured and risk. He sees the numbers that we're all seeing. He knows like the more wear and tear he puts on, that the less valuable he is. He can
Yeah, I
tell
think
that
it's
he's
just
packed it in.
I think it's
He's
just
been paid. He got paid last year, so
well, that's not necessarily a positive for his future
No,
developments, though, if you look at it that
true.
way. But
well,
I'm just saying that
true.
it's an opinion thing. I don't like the
Yeah.
Cowboys either, so take it or leave it.
I would take, for whatever it's worth, I would take the 3 that you guys mentioned, but perhaps against my better judgment, even off the injury, I would put Saquon 4th.
Ooh, yeah, forgot about him.
Let me
I'll
ask you
admit
real
it.
quick though about McCaffrey. Okay, and obviously
But
McCaffrey is
you
on.
said the consensus though.
Yeah, I think Saquon will be 4th. Sorry, that's what I meant. I think Saquon will be
Okay.
4th. Um, so obviously this is easy for us to say because we don't have a stake in it because none of us have Mike Davis and none of us have McCaffrey. Shouldn't Carolina shut McCaffrey down for the year? I feel like I'm like radio guy now, but I don't understand what they're doing. They're not going to the playoffs. Like he's clearly banged up. He came back for 1 week against the Chiefs and he was incredible, and then he was hurt again. Like,
Mm.
what are they doing? If they invested in this dude the way they did, I mean, he signed this huge deal. Why not like shut him down and get him ready for
Could it be
2021?
because he gets like bonuses maybe for the
That could
more
be.
games he plays? Or
That
like,
could
I
be.
agree. I mean, shut him down, let him get healthy.
Did he sign a contract?
He signed a massive contract.
Yeah,
Did-
massive
okay.
contract.
Yeah,
Um,
because his deal is sort of what triggered the Kamara and the Cook deal. Speaking of the other two guys.
Hmm.
Okay, let's go. Let's do a snake here. So we'll stay with you, Simmons.
Young studs.
Top four receivers. But now I'm gonna throw a wrinkle into it. Okay,
Yeah, wrinkle me.
I want the consensus, and I want your top four.
Ooh. Well, that's kind of a tough one, man, because
I'm here to ask
the
tough questions.
okay, I'll start with my top four. The
Mhm.
emergence of DK Metcalf
Yep.
has thrown everything off. Obviously, you know how I feel about AJ Brown. Although he has been
Do you feel
dropping
like
a lot
you're
of
do you feel
passes
like you're
lately.
cheating on AJ Metcalf first?
A little bit. Two
AJ, I didn't mean it.
large chiseled men.
AJ, I didn't mean it. It's just words.
God, that touchdown that AJ Brown caught this
Dude,
past Sunday,
that
I
was so
like
ridiculous.
it was a religious experience for me. I just kept watching it over and over again. I was like,
Dude,
oh my
it
God.
it looked like something out of like a cartoon.
Like he looks so much bigger than he is. Like he kept looking. I'm like, is he really only 6'1"? Really?
I completely agree with
Like
that.
I keep coming back to that. It looks like he's 6'7", but he's only 6'1". It's so weird. But all right, man. So I'm gonna go. I'm going Tyreek Hill number one. Okay, because
Okay.
he has again like the
Hey, listen,
explosiveness.
no one's doubting you, okay? You don't need to come in from okay? All right?
All right, I'm
I'm going
going off
Tyreek
on
Hill
a
number one.
line here. Okay. Yeah,
No,
Tyreek Hill
you
number
said it as
one.
though you were instantly going to be doubted. I don't think that's
Devontae Adams number two.
okay.
Because I think at the end of the year, if Tyreek Hill stays healthy, he's going to have crazy stats. But right now, he's tied. He and Devontae are tied for the most fantasy points in our league format,
Mhm.
which is like half point PPR.
Yep.
Um, they're tied for number one right now, and so I think by the end of it, I think Tyreek's going to probably have better stats than Devontae, just because Devontae might sit out another game or two. The way the Green Bay Packers medical staff is, and his and Tyreek's stats are just going to look better. So yeah, Tyreek
They
one,
also play
Devontae two.
faster. They play faster, so he's going to get more plays and
I
more
agree with you,
volume.
and also the rushing. He has 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown already. Tyreek does.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go. Because the other thing is that I'm just kind of talking through my thought process here.
Yeah.
Herbert and Keenan Allen connection.
Uh-huh.
That's something that makes me pause and be like, what's Keenan Allen going to be like next year? I mean,
Allen was unbelievable.
because
On
if
Sunday.
you look at man, like since Herbert became the starter, he's been putting up crazy numbers. He's currently the sixth best receiver in our league.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, all right, I'm gonna say he's number 4. No, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. No, I'm going. So I'm going Tyreek, Devontae, DK Metcalf,
Okay.
number 3, and then DeAndre Hopkins, number 4.
Okay. AJ Brown, don't take it personally.
AJ Brown, I love him, but their offense is just it's not a lot of volume for the receivers. I
It
mean,
can be kind of glacial.
yeah, I've been watching their offense with frustration. And I mean, for Kemp with Derrick Henry, it's great, but they don't feed AJ Brown as much as I would like. Sadly,
Kemp. Okay, thank you. So we got Tyreek, Devontae, DK, Nuke. Kemp, your top four, your personal top
so
four.
yeah, so I like DK Metcalf. My if I'm looking to 2021, I'm worried about Tyler Lockett. Is he going to be there next year, or is he going to be off somewhere else getting paid? That situation is needs to get resolved. I think what defenses have been doing, it's like pick your poison, because when Tyler Lockett has a great game, DK Metcalf usually doesn't, and when DK Metcalf has a good game, Tyler Lockett usually doesn't. So, so that kind of bothers me, and Keenan Allen I really like as well, although I wonder how much of this I don't want to call it a resurgence. I've liked Keenan Allen for a while, but him surging to like one of the top positions in the fantasy wide receiver ranks is due to the fact that Austin Eckler's been hurt, and Austin Eckler's on his way back.
Good point.
And the law of the conservation of targets says that
Yep, it's ratified.
where
in
are those
1885.
targets going to go to?
Sorry, what law is this?
The law of the conservation of targets. The
Uh-huh.
targets the targets aren't going to change. Like, so if a team throws 50 times a game, they're going to still throw 50 times a game, whether or not a guy is out or not.
Okay.
So where are
He
those
could take
targets gonna
targets
go?
away from
With
other wide
Keenan Allen,
receivers and tight ends and running back.
with Austin Eckler out, like what is that? 10 targets a game?
Yeah.
That's a little much. Probably like 8.5, 8,
I feel like 8 is
9.97.
even eight.
All right,
8 is
yeah,
probably a
so
little
8
high.
to 10.
Yeah,
So
probably
where's
7 a game at the most.
I
let's
feel like
just say
6 or 7.
12. I'm gonna say
4,
13
4,
targets
2,
a
1,
game.
0. 0
13
targets
targets
a
a
game.
game that are now going, and we're gonna say they're being those 13
What?
targets just for I'm just throwing out an example here.
Seen
Those
the
13
Zach
targets are
Galifianakis gif where he's like all
exclusively
from The
being
Hangover.
given to Keenan Allen now. They're not being distributed to anybody else. They're just
Oh
going to
God,
Keenan Allen.
this is such a long way to say that he's not in your top 4.
So I mean, that
Sir,
bothers
sir,
me.
the
So
question
I'm
was
not going to be
your
putting him in
personal
my
top
top 4.
4.
So I think Devontae Adams is definitely going to be, because I don't have any faith in Green Bay drafting
Shocker.
another
Actually, nor do
alpha
I.
wide receiver. So Devontae Adams is going to be one. Him and Rodgers have a little
Could have had
mind
T.
meld going.
Higgins. Could have had Chase Claypool.
I mean,
Oh my God, Claypool and Green Bay, that would have been crazy.
mean,
Or T. Higgins.
I think
T.
Jordan
Higgins
Love
too.
was the right choice there. You really needed to light a fire under Aaron
That would-
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Rodgers behind.
Well, it's kind of true in a way, but
you
still.
can't go wrong. Another year in the system with Nuke and Kyler Murray. I think that's a safe spot to put him in the top 4. Tyreek Hill obviously is going to be in the top 4, and let me think. I'm gonna go. Am I doing my personal top 4?
Yeah, this is your personal.
I'm gonna say if Matt Ryan is still there, I'm gonna go Calvin Ridley. I think.
Whoa.
I think he's.
Wow.
Whoa.
Maybe that is AJ. What am I talking about? AJ Brown. Good Lord. I'm gonna give AJ Brown some love.
Wait, let me ask you guys a question. Who do you think is
Calvin
getting
Ridley's
the most fantasy points per game for wide receivers?
Right now?
Yeah, in our format. Don't look, Kim. I see you looking over there.
Like per game, like average.
Per game, average. Yeah.
I'd say Adams.
Kemp.
Devontae.
I'll say Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're both right.
Yeah.
22 points a game from a wide receiver.
He's unbelievable.
Like
So-
you look at his output, it's insane.
I want to say though, I think that like you're talking about pick your poison with the Seahawks. Lockett has been great, although he's been kind of inconsistent, but he's had some really
Boom or
amazing
bust.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can shut down Lockett in a way that like I just don't think you like Metcalf. To me, the more you watch him, the more the TO comparison makes sense. And there's just like you cannot shut that guy down. And if you make it a point, just like with AJ Brown, by the way, that you're going to throw the ball to him 10 or 12 times a game, he's going to make a play or two. He just is. That's. I mean, I don't know much about the law, the Treaty of the Conservation of Targets, where that was signed, but I do know.
I like that though. I like that.
About
That makes
the
sense.
law of averages. That if you, where was it signed, by the way? Was that in
It was under the buttonwood tree.
was that Bruges Was that in Bruges
No.
that they?
It
The
was
buttonwood tree.
Anyway,
um,
so
The old rubbernecking tree down in
I would
Birmingham.
say so. My four um, would be Hopkins, Adams, Metcalf.
Keenan Cole.
No Jags. Absolutely zero Jags to be found. I
Cole Beasley.
I don't fully trust Andy Reid's game plan ever, which is why I can't put Tyreek in my top four. So I'm mostly going offenses. I'm not going on his talent, obviously, or his playmaking ability. Let's see. So it would be Nuke, Adams, uh, Metcalf, and
Clorin.
not top four. McLaurin's a great player, but he's not top four. I'm toggling through the teams here, fellas. Sorry.
All right, take your time.
Hey, what is this? Are we recording this?
Yeah, take all the time you need. I'll
Hey, guys,
just go do
give me-
some dishes in the
Yeah.
background.
give me 10 more minutes. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna take a shot too.
I
Not
don't
Calvin
feel it.
Ridley. I'm gonna say Stephon Diggs.
One more year in the system with Allen.
And I think the yards and the targets will be there, and I think that the touchdowns will go up. You guys know, or maybe you don't know Simmons. Kemp, I know you know. I've been on Diggs like for a very long time. He's somehow only been
Oh
on my
yeah,
team once in this league.
I remember he was on your team. I remember that year.
Yeah, but like I think this dude is just an absolute freak of nature. Full package in terms of route running, speed, quickness, and I know Kemp likes him too. But it was weird because I think, and I don't know how you guys felt, but and you may remember, I was thinking about this watching the Bills Cardinals a couple weeks ago, which is one of the best games of the year so far.
Oh, it was a great game.
Diggs and Hopkins made those plays
Great.
at the end. They were traded on the same day, um, uh, uh, in the middle of the pandemic. There, Nuke
Oh
was
yeah.
traded from Houston to Arizona, and Diggs was traded from the Vikings to the Bills. I think everyone, or many people, sort of, you know, pandemic stuff notwithstanding, like we talked about last time, they at least thought that when you get practice in, the fit with Murray and Kingsbury and Hopkins was going to be good. I don't think people thought that. I don't think the consensus was anywhere near that on Diggs to Buffalo, related in part to Josh Allen and just to kind of not fully trusting the Bills as
It's
as an
Buffalo.
offensive
Yeah.
as an offensive entity.
Mm-hmm.
And man, Allen has been. I don't know that I'd want him on my actual team, but as a fantasy producer, Allen has been really strong in a lot of these games, and Diggs has been, the prime beneficiary. So I'm
He
gonna
threw a
take a little bit of a
Dude,
shot.
He
I
threw a dime to Diggs on that last touchdown.
See, I
Was
think that was a
I
better.
just saw
I think
I
that
just
was a
saw
better
what Diggs
chance.
was drafted at in our league, and it made
Was
me
he eight
really
like
sad and mad.
$8?
Sad
$8?
and mad. I speak like a 5-year-old. No, $11, man.
$11. Yeah,
God.
$11
yeah.
by
Guys,
Gordo.
But you know what?
Well done,
You know
Gordo.
what? At the time, knowing what you knew about Buffalo and the way they've used receivers
Yeah.
in the past, and Josh Allen had never thrown for what
He
was the
hadn't
stat?
he
He had
hadn't
never
made
thrown
that
for
leap yet. I mean,
270
he
yards.
made the leap
Yeah,
this year. It's true.
yeah.
The
But
last image that we had of Josh Allen
The behind the
was a
back
guy
pass.
that was totally incompetent versus the Texans, and you know couldn't find his ass from his elbow.
yeah,
And
kind of like Brady against the Titans.
Incompetent enough to
Last
find to hand Bill O'Brien a playoff win.
yes, there you go. So that leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
So
With
those are my four though. Nuke, Devontae, DK, Diggs. Now, what do you think the consensus top four will be, Kemp? Not yours, the consensus.
I think the consensus will be Devontae, Tyreek. I'm gonna go ahead and say DK Metcalf just because he's getting the most press.
He's got like a flash factor that like Odell
Yeah.
had, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So like he's gonna be up there, and Nuke.
Okay.
I think those are gonna be the consensus top four.
Those you said Tyreek, Devontae, Nuke, and DK.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are my. I'll just jump in real fast. Those are my top four as well. Simmons, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, Devontae, I think it's going to be in this order.
Uh-huh.
Devontae, DK, Tyreek, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Well, for
Yeah.
us, it's kind of because like the top. What about Mike Thomas?
I was thinking about him. I mean,
You know, we
he's had a
kind of
year. He's had a very strange like year from hell almost.
Yeah, we totally forgot about him.
Taysom was well, but part of it is like who's going to be quarterback there next year.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
It's a little bit up in the air.
Taysom,
but Mike
do we
Thomas
want to
had
get
a really good game last week with Taysom?
do we want to get into Taysom's performance because I have some thoughts and I don't know how you guys feel, but I watched that entire game stem to stern and like statistically it was there, okay?
Yeah, the
If
rushing.
you guys watch the game, this guy is a ticking time bomb.
Dude, he almost had like 3 turnovers. I remember they kept going back to
He
it
fumbled the ball. He just
on
like
red
straight up dropped the ball 3 times and he recovered.
I think
So-
at the beginning he was shaky, but he got better as the game went along.
So
from what I
part of
saw.
this, okay, but part of this, let's be clear. This is coming from the perspective of someone who has Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray.
Oh yeah.
This motherfucker is just the
Yeah.
ultimate Blumpkin. Right, that should be a good album title.
It's gonna hurt Alvin Kamara. I mean, just one game sample size, but I don't. It could hurt him a little bit.
First time in his career he's not caught a pass in a game.
Yeah, I
before he
saw
played.
that.
Look,
That's not good, man.
the deep pass to Emmanuel Sanders was, and I'm not saying this I'm saying this with full seriousness, one of the worst deep passes I've ever seen. Did you
Yeah,
guys
he
see that?
had to come back to
It
that
looked
ball.
like a punt. It looked like he was fielding a punt.
It was Cam Newton-esque.
Well, okay. Ignoring that for a second.
Well,
Look,
because it's accurate. That's
I'm
accurate.
not saying
Like, he had
Wow,
to
dude.
come back to that ball.
I'm
Well,
not
the Cam
saying
Newton pass to Bird was pretty sweet though. It looked okay.
Taysom
That one did look all right.
is gonna be an excellent fantasy quarterback. I don't know. I can't say for sure when Jameis is the other option. I mean, they could both be turnover machines.
Hmm.
I have serious doubts if they keep rolling with this guy. They're 8-2 right now.
Is he a better passer than Tebow though? He looked like he was better than Tebow.
Oh yeah, he's much better than Tebow.
There were so many. Bless you, Cam. There were so many
thank you.
Tebow.
Yeah, no, he's
comparisons
way
early
better than
on.
Tebow. No, he's way better than Tebow. But I don't know, guys. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of love. Simmons, I know you love him.
I like this. I like his statistical output.
As a player, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm out.
I wish he had tied in eligibility in
I'll-
Yahoo. It'd be nice.
Kemp, what do you think?
I was just gonna say, when you mentioned him for to be nominated for the leather diaper.
No, I said the ultimate Blumpkin.
I did.
No,
Simmons did. Sorry.
With Ben, I kind of jumped in my seat there. I don't think he's ready for that high of a level.
Well, according to
let's
ESPN, he had tight end eligibility, right? So he
had tight end eligibility
I don't know if
on
he's ready
FanDuel
for-
as well.
which by the way was and is absurd. Like, has he lined up as a tight end single time this year?
He
That's
has,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Has he?
He's been a tight end like more than a few times. Like
A tight end
it is
what, like on the line or like near the line? Like
it's been like he's been near the line. I don't think he's lined up much on the line, but I think he's been like kind of a in-line receiver. But no, I mean I'm kind of, I'm excited to see what else they do with him. I feel like there's a little bit of novelty to his game that will probably wear off, and the teams will start to adapt. They'll start playing him. I mean, he's not like he can truck guys. Like he's kind of quick on his feet, but he's not like a Lamar. He doesn't have that kind of escapability. I mean, he got
Mhm.
sacked pretty brutally
So
a few times.
here's a stat for you. I heard this yesterday. He played 5 years in college, and I guess he redshirted one, or
Isn't he
there
like
was injuries.
32 years old? He's
He
not
had
even young.
four of his seasons at BYU ended in injury. He
I
is
saw
to
that.
me,
Mm.
he is to me, when you watch him run, he is he's a credible athlete. Okay, I'm not taking anything away from him with that. Like he's a very good athlete,
Mm.
but he's like the anti Kamara, where Kamara, like Sean Payton has referred to Kamara before, is soft. But the reality is that this dude is not soft at all. He's just actually really smart about not taking hits, and that's why he'll kind of just like veer out of bounds sometimes.
Yeah, no, he's
Kamara has
smart.
said that openly.
He's like the
Taysom
Reggie
Hill,
Wayne of running backs.
exactly. Taysom Hill is the 180 opposite. This dude is like trying to get concussed when he runs. I mean, have you guys watch him run? It's like he has no regard for his own body.
He's like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wouldn't make that comparison at
2018.
all.
I was
But
gonna say in 2018.
Yeah, it's
and
true. He was a little bit trying to get hurt. It seemed like.
yeah, well, but anyway, so
Running into contact.
I just, and it's like here's the thing with them too. It would be one thing if like this is just like an experiment and whatever, like whatever they're 4-8, they want to see what they have at the end of the year.
It's more
This
to
team
that for
is
Peyton.
8-2.
Peyton, no, you don't understand. Peyton is so smitten with
I
him.
know that,
He's in
but
love. It's like he's
So
not seeing
weird.
clearly.
So
He's got
odd.
rose-colored glasses on.
dude,
He's
$20
Why
million.
Taysom Hill?
he's obsessed. He is totally obsessed with Taysom Hill. He looks at he said that Taysom Hill is Steve Young. He
Like
thinks
why
he's
not?
the next
Like
Steve
why not
Young.
Gardner Minshew? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna be
He's
smitten over a white QB, like that was the guy you needed to be smitten over.
No, but he's not. He's not this big, strong, strapping lad. Well, again,
But
he's not a
Gardner
lad. He's like
Minshew, come
29 years
on.
old.
I just think the fact that they're 8-2 and like they're just doing this
Yeah.
openly, I just think that's very strange. And obviously, Breeze has like every bone in his body is fractured right now.
But their
Over
alternative
it.
is Jameis Winston,
No,
who
I
is
know,
like
I understand that, but
turnover machine.
he
So
is. But I feel like if you give Hill enough games, he's gonna turn into like a Jameis level of turnovers. I really do.
he got lucky in
And
this
that
past game for
that was
sure.
also like if you're going to put Taysom Hill in one game to show yourself to prove your bona fides, your bona fides, um, versus Atlanta would be like
Yeah.
about as good as it gets, in the NFL.
How's it gonna go at Denver? How's it gonna go when they have to play Kansas City? If Breeze is still hurt, the Chiefs play the Saints in what, week 15, I think.
Oh man, I didn't
Um,
realize that.
Yep.
like is
Did not
And
Mahomes
realize
at
that.
is Taysom
Philadelphia,
Hill?
they got to play at Philadelphia. They've got to
Oh
that
yeah, they got kind of a
that defensive
well.
line is one of the best in the
They
NFL.
Yeah,
can just score all their
Cox
points
will
in that game
destroy
by
them.
Carson Wentz throwing them the ball.
yeah. But like
Sorry,
I could
Dan. Sorry, Dan.
I could see them doing like a rushing attack. Where like Taysom Hill, like they're running like the wishbone and Denver. With Latavius Murray might start getting more play. He might. Sam, I know you have him on your team. That might be.
Yeah.
He might start getting a little bit more of an uptick
Yeah.
in touches than
He was
Kamara.
definitely getting more looks, and I think Kamara was his foot was messed up, but um so
Yeah,
he didn't look fully healthy. But look, I
even
mean, Hill might.
even out the carries
Yeah,
between
yeah, it's
Latavius
possible.
and
It's
Kamara
possible, but Hill
The
Hill
ball
might
and the
stance.
Hill might make me eat
passing
my
yards
words,
as
okay?
well.
Hill might make me eat my words. I'm just saying, like,
Well, he's definitely
I think
listening.
there's a
So
lot of people. I think there's a lot of he's listening exactly.
For
There's a
sure.
lot of people who who I feel like if they were looking at the box score or they watched the highlights or whatever, I
mhm.
don't think they saw all of the like warts and stuff in that game.
Yeah, he almost had a whole bunch of turnovers. It's true. Like he had like there's one where he got sacked and the ball like came out immediately and he just fell like right on it. Like it was the luckiest
Yeah.
thing in the world. Like
And
a
look,
couple of
he's
those
gonna
things
call.
bounced the wrong way, and it's like a much different game.
He's gonna call in, and he's gonna call in if he has another good game. He's gonna call into the pod. He's gonna really just like let me have it in his Mormon way. No cursing.
Mm.
Like, what's he gonna say? Like, you dadgummit
You're
idiot.
you're a
You
jerk.
frickin',
I'll say it.
you frickin'
You're a mean person.
dagnabbit.
Is he Southern?
Gotcha. No, he's from Idaho. He's from Idaho.
Oh, okay. You know, the country bumpkin all of a sudden. It comes from
Well,
up north.
if you spend some time in New Orleans,
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
do you think Taysom Hill's ever been to the place where where we went,
I
where there
think
were
Taysom Hill.
bugs in the
I think he eats like a piece, like a French bread loaf, and like a glass of lukewarm water for
The
every meal.
cowpoke.
yeah.
Yeah.
He went to the cowpoke.
And it's
I
not,
bet he's. I
I
bet
don't
he's
think
been
that's
to- I bet he's been to the
I
cowpoke.
don't think
He
that's
eats
a
like
restaurant.
a bowl of like boiled corn
Yeah.
and like a French roll, like a little like
Didn't
white
He
bread
you go
goes
roll.
down
to
to the cowpoke? Didn't you go down there?
Yeah, I went down there with T-Bone, and we
it was like acid jazz,
purchased
right?
some material, and
It seemed all above board.
I gotta say,
He goes
I
in
got
it.
the
Maybe
worst sleep of my life there.
it was awful.
That area.
It was awful.
I got so sick when I got home. I was sick for like a month.
Do you think he goes to
Yeah, that's because
maybe
you were sleeping on the couch, and then you like took my bed the last night.
that's
That
not
was
what happened?
Sam.
That's
I
not what
didn't. Oh,
you tried to do
No,
paper rock scissors with me when you already had the bed and you lost.
you bet the bed with like for no reason. Like you, you had all the leverage, and you're like, I'm gonna put this on the trading
It
block.
was really
but
I'm all
the
in.
word the
I
word
didn't think you would actually accept it. I did like
the word
who
that I
does
would
that?
use the word that I would use to describe the entire scene is pathetic.
It
It
was
was like you were like
hilarious.
a gambler jonesing for you needed like action. Like, let's see if I can win this
Yeah.
coin flip, and then you lost it. And I was like, well, that means the bed.
Well,
And
I
so you
didn't. I
slipped
Here's
it.
didn't
my
think
here.
you.
I'll bet the mortgage on my house. Just gotta bet something big.
Do you think he's been to Ruby Slipper? Where he goes in there, oh Taysom, Taysom, we gonna give you some of that gumbo. Oh, we gonna give you that etouffee.
Wait, was that the
What is
place
that?
that
What's
place
that
was
SNL
delicious?
sketch? Main Justice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
We
that's
gonna
how
give
we
you
do
some
it
of
down,
that Main
down
Justice.
Main
Down
Justice.
in Bar Harbor, Maine.
A little bit about
Um,
Main Justice. Well, how you doing?
oh,
This?
that's a little bit of that beignet. Got some of that powder sugar.
I haven't even seen this sketch, but I like that
How
accent.
you going?
Simmons,
How's
you
it
haven't
going,
seen it's
both?
I haven't seen it.
the premise is it's
Almost
like
over.
Judge Judy, and it's called Main Justice, and they say all this stuff as though they're in New England, and they do it. The deputy up and the judge speak with like the thickest Cajun accents you've ever heard.
The Cajun
Main.
accent's hilarious. It's one of
That's
the
the whole
great
premise of the
American
sketch.
accents.
And they said, "Yeah, you in Maine now. You in
Am I-
Maine now, boy."
So you know how we do it down Main Justice way. Am I in Maine?
Yeah, and yeah, the plaintiff is like, "I'm sorry, and is this where are we? Yeah, you in Maine."
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
we've sidetracked here from Taysom Hill.
Oh, we're still in the Taysom Hill universe, though.
Yeah, that's true.
This
Yeah,
weird,
but
Simmons-
wacky.
Simmons,
I think
he might
I
prove me
think
wrong.
to
Okay,
bring us back on track here, I think Michael Thomas, like apparently he like punched a
he's
teammate.
had a really weird
He's a
season.
real jerk,
Mm.
apparently.
He's a
But
diva
that
receiver.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
he's not. That doesn't mean that he's a bad fantasy football asset. I mean, he's a
Okay,
great
yeah.
fantasy football asset.
I don't think anyone
Even
said
though
that
he's
it
a
did mean
prick.
that, but
So I think it behooves us to include him in the discussion of top
Yeah,
wide receivers for
We kind of glossed over
2021.
him. It's true. We did gloss
I'd
over
put
him a
him in
little bit.
5 or 6. I'm okay keeping him out of the top 4 though, just because of the
I
QB
mean,
situation.
it would be either him, like, or
Like
Nuke,
I
him
feel
and
like
Nuke,
DK Metcalf has
or
the potential.
Metcalf.
Just I mean, he's just so. You said To, and that's a really good comparison. But like, he's almost like bigger version of To, and I don't know. I don't think he's as much of a head case. Although,
Give it
no,
time.
he's not. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say give it a little time. He seems pretty eccentric,
No, yeah.
but
I
at the
Well,
think
same time, like he seems like a great teammate.
I
yeah,
agree.
know?
his dad is a football player, so Eric Metcalf, I want to say.
No,
Um,
that's not right.
yeah,
Eric
I want
Metcalf
to say.
was a football player, but that was not his dad.
Yeah, I think it's his uncle or something. Like
His
he's
dad,
related.
strangely enough, his dad's only like 5'3", and his mom
Mm,
is like 4'9",
Amazon
and
His
rules.
dad is his,
they birthed this behemoth.
his dad is Cletus the fox robot. It's his father.
He does look like he's a spitting image of Cletus. He's
Terrence Metcalf.
No, but the reason that I would put those other 4 is just the QB situations. That's it. Murray, Rogers, uh, Wilson, and well, for me, I said Josh Allen. I don't know about that, but Simmons for yours,
yeah,
yours is Mahomes. So those are just like if we don't know what the Saints are going to look like, then I think that makes more sense. But I don't
yeah,
know, Thomas.
yeah,
That could make Thomas a bargain.
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it will be interesting to see what happens with Breeze next year. He is a broken man currently, and he's getting pretty long in the tooth. But I'm telling you that the burning desire within him is to get that passing touchdown record, and he's going to play as long as he can, even if it means leaving the Saints and going to
You think
play
so?
somewhere else indoors.
You think so?
I mean, because I just have this feeling based on the last few years that the way the contract negotiations have gone. I'm not a reporter. I have no insight in. It seems like Sean Payton wants to move on. Like he did, like his obsession
Taysom.
with Taysom Hill, this unhealthy kind of almost sexual obsession with Taysom Hill. Yeah, I said it. I think he wants to move on from Breeze. That's my take. That's my hot take. But
Yeah,
Breeze
I
is getting
think
like Breeze is old, man.
Breeze is about done. We all loved
It
him.
would shock
We
me
all
if
loved
he
him. He
went.
was a great guy. I love him.
Okay,
But
I think he's gonna
time's
put
up.
pressure on him. I think he's gonna like create this like weird aura. It's kind of like with Belichick and Brady, where it's like Breeze is like, well, I don't really feel wanted, so I'm gonna go somewhere else,
Well,
And like,
I think Breeze sees the writing on the wall too, and I think he understands that he doesn't have anything left in the tank, or it's running on empty.
I
That
thought, but
you sure about that?
I thought it was
Oh,
pretty well established that he wants
you
to
think?
end as a Saint.
I
I
think
would be
you're
surprised.
probably right. I'm kind of throwing that out there, but I could see him going to Tampa Bay and replacing the quarterback they have there,
Oh God!
wow,
Oh God!
wow.
Simmons, I see what you're
or
doing there. I
or
see.
if
Simmons,
Kirk
show me.
Cut.
Simmons, show me that pot. Show me that pot. Show me how you
Stirring that
stir it.
pot, boy. No,
Some of
what
that
he
hardy.
needs to do is he needs to go like to somewhere where he can play indoors and then play every single other game on the road
Can
indoors.
we like
Because whenever he goes outdoors, he's like, if the temperature falls below 40 degrees, he turns into like
a
his
pumpkin?
powers decrease
Yeah,
by like 50%.
this is true, and I do think that his
He should go to the Colts, honestly.
the Saints is where he's going to end his career, and I don't think he has it in him. I think he's done after this year. Would it surprise anybody if after this year he's like, "Oh, I'm done"?
No, it wouldn't. I think this could be his last year.
It wouldn't, but I feel like he doesn't want to go out like that. He doesn't want to go
Well,
out like a broken man,
but do we know exactly? I mean, now this is devolved into just rampant and reckless speculating here.
Hot stove.
When when do we think he's coming back? Do we know? Like I think he's gonna come back.
I got a
There's
I got a
chance we might have
feeling,
just saw his last game. I mean,
There's
he's
a
got
chance, but
12 broken ribs.
dude. I'm telling you,
if you were a betting man,
Taysom
do you think
Taysom would
he's
have to throw for 6 interceptions and like fumble the ball 5 times in a game for him to get yanked by Peyton.
do you
I
Peyton's
mean,
been waiting so long for this.
you
I'm
think he'd
not a
leave? You
doctor,
think
but
he?
I
You're
think
definitely
12
not.
ribs, like that season
He's
ending.
got like 11 broken ribs or something.
No one has ever accused you of being a doctor, Chris. Now let's go back for a second. Simmons, you think if Breeze comes back and says I'm ready, you think Peyton sticks with Taysom?
Dude,
That
yes.
I find you do really.
I really do, man. Like
Wow.
it's just it's gut feeling I have about the whole Taysom. Again, like the
That's a
whole Peyton
take.
Taysom relationship. I feel like there's something we're not even seeing that's like behind the scenes. Like Breeze and just like with Brady and Belichick, Breeze and Peyton have
Like they
been together
share a house
forever.
together.
They're they're tired of each other, I think, a little bit. And also there's so many things that you can do. Like you've seen the offense with Breeze. No, I love Breeze, but it's a lot of check downs. It's not a lot of, he can throw deep, but it's not a lot of like like explosive plays. It's Kamara getting peppered with targets. It's Michael Thomas getting the ball in the intermediate area. With Taysom, it's like he's running out, he's like rolling out, he's rushing for 50 yards in a game, two rushing touchdowns. You can just do a lot more with a quarterback like that. You can either run pass option, and Taysom is not a polished passer, so you can't do as many complicated kind of passing formations and things like that, I guess. But I just feel like Peyton, as a creative genius, offensive genius that he wants to stretch his wings and fly, man. He wants to get on the Taysom Express, and I'm really making Taysom seem like he's amazing.
So I think
I
I
mean,
But
think
he's
he's
good
I
for
think
these
he's gonna be.
whoop-de-doo
all right,
plays, but
how
like
about this?
he's
Is
not.
Taysom a better passer? Is he a same? Who's a better passer, Lamar or Taysom?
Taysom,
Lamar.
Wow, Kim said Taysom. I
Taysom.
I think it's up for debate. I would say probably Lamar, but it's like if
The
Taysom
fact that
isn't
it's
as
even a discussion should tell you all you need to know.
but Taysom is not as
I don't
elusive.
think it's a discussion.
He's not the runner that Lamar is, but he's a more powerful runner. So he's kind of like
Yeah, that's
a
true.
powerful version of Lamar, slower, more powerful.
he's a great athlete. I mean,
Like
they're
on
both
the goal
amazing.
line, he's probably more effective rushing than
I would
Lamar
agree with
is.
that. I
So
don't think
like
anybody would dispute that.
he's a different kind of
But
weapon, but he's still dangerous.
I will disagree with you a little though, Simmons. I think this dude is super loyal to Breeze and always has been. And I don't think that the Brady Belichick tension is really there at all. Now,
Mm.
Peyton is a smug bastard, and it's completely within the realm of possibility to me that he's just like, you know what? No, I have a huge ego, and I wanna show that I can do this without Breeze. I would guess that if Breeze comes back, they go down with Breeze for better or worse.
Mm.
But I
Do
don't
you
know.
remember what happened in the playoffs last year? By the way, with Breeze, he melted down
He
like
was
he's never
bad. No, I
melted
know he
down
was bad,
before.
and he's been
It was
bad this
tough to
year. I mean,
watch.
this isn't about. I'm not saying
I
this
think you're.
from a
By the way,
position
I
of.
think you're probably right. I think you're probably right. I like throwing out
Yeah, no, I
some
appreciate it.
takes every now and
So let's
There's
get
this
out of here on
idea
this.
that like when you want to go down with the ship with Breeze and your guys when you've been there that long
Yeah,
with the franchise, like it doesn't matter how bad you've been playing, like that's your guy, and that's the way it should have been in New
Just
England.
like
That's
with
the way it should
Belichick
be
and
here.
Brady.
doesn't
Just
matter
like
how many ghosts Tom Brady's seeing out there. You just got to go down with
You
him. I get
got
it.
you have to
I get it.
you go
Yeah,
down with the ship.
yeah. So let me get you out of here on this one, guys. Okay. So I want to start with the fact that I want to state for the record that 4 weeks ago we sat on here and we talked about each other's teams. We just shook each other's hands and patted each other on the back and said, "Good job." Right? No, you're schmoopy. No, you're schmoopy. Basically, right? And we just
You hang
complimented
up.
each other.
You hang up.
I complimented everybody and everybody complimented me, right? Now, for the record, I do want to point out when I told you all that I thought this was going to be between Simmons and Osborne. You're like, no, Sam, your team's good too. What do we have now? It's Simmons and Osborne, okay? This is the two teams
with
that we're down
Sam
to.
like waiting in the wings.
No, I'm done.
Osborne is running away with
So
this
this
thing,
is
man.
yeah, but
Point
come on,
Osborne is
you
running
differential,
no
away with
stop it,
this.
Ben. You have the same record as he does. What are you talking about?
Osbo's got this,
That's
dude.
a great reverse change.
Osbo, you got this, bro.
He's running away with something that you're tied with him in.
No, but his points
No, his
differential.
points are big. But
And
let me
he
I
ask
mean,
picked up Cole
I,
Beasley.
I,
Like that bullshit, man.
Let
He
me-
yeah,
shouldn't
that
have
Cole
been able to
Beasley,
do
but
that.
John Brown's gonna be healthy, hopefully, and Cole Beasley will not
well,
be getting on the
Cole
target.
Beasley probably should have never been dropped, but that's another story. Now let's go to this though, okay? Because next time we're gonna get to the Gaudis, we're not gonna be talking about the league necessarily as much. How are we feeling going into Simmons? I'll start with you because you are one of 2 of 12 teams that we have in our league that has a shot at the regular season title at this point. Realistically, I do not have a shot, and nobody behind me does. So this is Michael and Ben. Ben, how are you feeling the last 2 weeks and for weeks 14 and beyond?
I
About your team.
need Osborne to take an L or else he's gonna win because
Yes,
he's got I think an 80-point lead in points somewhere around there, like 180
it's pretty
points.
big, yeah.
Yeah, so
Gordo, you need Gordo to win this week.
Gordo is like caught a rocket ship and he's flying up the standings. He's I think he's won 5 or 6 in a row at this point. It's pretty crazy. So he's hot on the tail.
How are you feeling
Um,
about your own team though?
My team, I feel like has been steady, more consistent than other teams in the past, and part of that is because it's just because of our format. You know, the best ball style format we have. I've gotten really lucky certain weeks with picking up guys and just Brady has a horrible week and disappoints me, makes me really mad. But then Cam is like decent, so like kind of just gotten
Picks
lucky
up
in
the
that
slack.
regard.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, I said this last time, but I think our league is incredibly balanced. Like maybe
Yes.
some of it is because of the best ball format again, but any team can beat you. So like honestly, I'm like Belichick taking not as good as Belichick to be clear, but he always says taking 1 week at a time. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like win each week and not looking actually not looking too far in the distance. Like and like our other format, you can pick up a guy that you like that nothing has happened. Like that, like you know, you don't need to play him.
He's not in play. Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you're
he's
saying.
not in play. So you pick up a guy who's like getting like 1 point a week, but he has a chance to become like a full fledged, RB1 on a team. So
No, that's
I'm churning players through trying to get points on every fucking week, and it's a fun format. I'm not sure which one I like the best, but this is so long winded.
no, it's good,
But
Simmons. It was worth it for you to hear you slip briefly into Russell Wilson mode and just be like, I'm just trying to go 1-0 each week. About your roster.
unlimited.
God, that guy, what a weirdo. Speaking
Yeah,
of
what a
weirdos,
weirdo. But no, man. Like
but let me can I real quick. Let me jump in. Compared to like, because you guys have both had a lot of formidable, pretty deep squads in the last decade, right? Going into the playoffs. I'll ask both of you this, but I'll start with you, Ben. Compared to like other teams that you've had, let's say from 2010 on or so, where would you rank like scale of 1 to 10? 10 with like supreme confidence, no jinxing here, okay? Just speaking truthfully. 10 with like high confidence, 1 feeling really shaky. Where would you put this team there, perhaps in comparison to like other teams going into the playoffs?
I'm gonna go. Well, I haven't looked at the schedule of all my guys. I'm gonna say 7 because
Mhm.
in years past we've had more of like there wasn't a clear cut number one team in terms of like dominance, but like I'm not sure if you've gazed at Osborne's totals like in the last like 5 weeks, but he's regularly putting up like 170,
Oh yeah, yeah.
165
His
points
team is loaded.
every
Killing it.
freaking week. And it's
Mhm.
just like, I'm not doing that. I'm putting up like 150,
Yeah.
160 around there. So I feel, and then I'll have like 120 week or like, I just don't have the ceiling. I think that because he has Dalvin Cook, man. I mean, he's got like, I don't have guys who can explode and get you like 35 points, 40 points. Like I have maybe one of my QBs possibly, but I just don't know if I have the ceiling that he has. So I got to get sneaky and hopefully somebody will beat him and I can win the next two. And that's the only way I can win, I think, the regular season. But
Yeah.
I would say a 7. I had a team the year that I had Sproles. I think that was like the best fantasy team I ever had.
I'm sorry. Does the
And
year that you had Sproles narrow it down?
that's a good point. But like, no, the 2011, I still remember that team. That's when we were still doing the snake drafts, but I don't want to get into that. But yeah,
Kemp, are you
that's what
watching porn?
that's what would need
No,
to
I'm
happen.
looking at I need to pick up a guy. I've got
Okay. Yeah.
an empty.
Wait,
Yeah.
who are you trying to pick? I'm gonna pick him
tell
up
us,
before
tell
you.
us, tell us what you're wavering, dude. Simmons, by the way,
No.
I'm sorry, I just have to mention this. Like, looking at the fab stuff every week now and seeing your bids, it's just like incredible when it's just like every single bid is $0, and it's just like a man. It's just like a man firing a gun with no bullets. It's just amazing.
Wait.
$0,
It's going
$0.
all over the place. Yeah.
How do you see the bids? Is it when you go to the
Wait, do you not know this? No,
well, like
dude,
what time
go
do the
to
bids go through? Like 3 in the
No,
morning?
you can go to the Fab tab, and you can see who
Like
bids on
what the
how much
losing.
everybody bids.
Yeah.
You can see what the losing bids are. You've never seen
I've
that?
never seen that.
Oh
No.
man, yeah, that's always
Wow.
entertaining. Um,
Yeah, last week especially, like I had all these contingencies where
dude, it's so good. I love it.
I put down like 8 guys on one bid. Like if I didn't
Listen,
get this
man.
guy, I would get this other guy, and it was like
Yes, but
I was
to
confusing myself.
to be clear, though,
All to get Denzel Mims. All
to
to
be
get
clear,
fucking Denzel Mims.
to be
Second
clear,
receiver on the Jets.
you're 8-3. Okay, you're in a position to win the league or get in second. So whatever you're doing, it's worked. But I just love like just like the firing of blanks with no money left. I respect it so much because you're just hoping like maybe people are gonna miss this one guy and I'll get him and that I think I think there's something to that. And
Commitment.
clearly the guys that you've gotten have put you in this position.
But I dropped
Now,
James White though,
yeah.
and that's gonna bite me in
I
the
wouldn't
ass.
worry about him.
Well,
He's
so
not
You're
doing
trying
all
to
that.
pick Kemp. I know you're gonna try to pick him up.
No, I'm
So
not.
one other thing
How
I'll
much
say
fab do you have, Kemp?
one thing I'll say about Osborne's team
You
that
got
I think
$0, buddy.
is really good is the idea. His team, Osborne's team is stacked everywhere, but he did a really good job in realizing that with the kicker and defense stuff that we do, where you don't get multiple unless it's a bye week, to have Tucker and the Steelers, that just like pads points at the bottom of his lineup so well each week to have
Yep.
basically the best fantasy defense and the best kicker. So shout out to him for that because that was really on top of the depth.
Yeah, this is
the
an
run- the running-
Osborne wank fest here.
It's really
well, the running back
and
depth is good, but no, that
Osborne's
was
team.
that was good. Simmons, I like your team too, and I think you have a more. I'm not trying to jinx.
I'm getting
just
jinxed so damn hard
no.
right
I'm
now.
speaking. I'm speaking
I've jinxed
truthfully.
myself too. No, not you.
I think you
in
have
general.
a more. I think you have a more You don't have. Neither of your two matchups is as hard as his versus Gordo. That's my opinion. Okay, so Kemp, let's go to
he
you
plays
now.
Gordo. I didn't think I realized
Kemp,
that.
you're not. Let's say, how should I put this? You're not.
my max is 150. I've got a
No,
hard ass
you're not-
ceiling at 150.
I wasn't done with the question yet, but I'll wait for you. I'll wait till I finish and you can speak. You're not, and let me put this in quotes, Chris, so you can look at me. I'm going to do air quotes. You're not in the hunt. You're not. You're not at the top of the pack, but you do have.
So disrespectful.
You do have a really strong team in recent weeks, and you do have a team that I actually don't agree with that. It kills me to compliment your teams, Chris, but I think when you're fully healthy, I think your team can has a pretty substantial ceiling if everyone is clicking and everyone is healthy. How are
No,
you
they're just
feeling
not healthy. I mean,
going into the playoffs?
Joe Mixon just doesn't want to get better. I think that has crippled my fucking squad. I actually think I would have that, and if I had
He doesn't
a
want to
third
get
wide
better.
receiver. that would have.
See, that's
that
just an
would've helped me.
example of how I've
No,
gotten lucky because I picked up Gio Bernard and he gave me like 2 weeks of 20 plus points, and I needed those weeks, like so I've just gotten
Yeah.
like I've patchworked my squad
Yeah, and it's
with
weird because
random
those
guys
could
like
have
that.
been points that would have gone to Chris if Chris had
I tried to
handcuffed his
trade
yeah,
guy.
I
and
tried to trade him
I
to
kept
Chris
I
and he
kept
said no. Jalen Rager, that's all I wanted,
I
Kemp, and
kept telling Sam to fuck off when he
you
kept
ghosted
offering
me.
me Ronald Jones, and because
Oops.
Ronald Jones is just a
RB,
fucking jag.
he's the RB9.
Yeah,
RB9
which is
overall.
unbelievable.
That
I mean,
98-yard run
He
he
might
had
okay.
was
my theses
I'm
insane.
gonna give you
keep
guys.
blowing up in my face, and
I'm
it's
gonna let you guys in
bullshit.
on a little
Every
secret.
single fucking. I am on
Okay,
like a
okay,
4-year losing streak when it
All right,
comes to
calm
my
down.
waiver wire pickups, and I'm like,
Wow,
okay, I'm
I
gonna
hit a
go
nerve.
all in on this guy, and I go
Simmons,
all in
I
on
hit
this
a
guy,
nerve.
and it blows up in my face, and it's happened to me yet again. This time with fucking Duke Johnson, and I'm fucking pissed.
Okay,
Just for the
can I
viewers, right?
just say
The viewers, he took
Look,
off his pants. He's naked
he looks
while
like
he's doing this. I
this
don't
is
know what
like
he's
you guys
doing.
remember you guys seen Michael Clayton where Tom Wilkinson has like the nervous breakdown in that deposition? It's kind of what Kemp looked like there. Now,
He took off his shirt. He started like
But
putting like cigarette butts into his arm and stuff. It was really disturbing.
well,
I will
and
I will
let
tell
me
you.
get back on track here because
Hold on,
I am a
can I
little
just
I do want to thank Sam for letting us like reminisce on our teams of years past because as far as how do I rate this team to my other teams, I really want to go back, take a moment to go back to 2014 and my team that is what I want to say it won 14 straight games,
the question was
still
about
a
this
record.
year's team?
But you wanted us to look back.
Well,
People
no,
love
actually,
hearing
Compared
about
to
other
other
people's
teams.
fantasy teams.
I
In
didn't
2014
didn't
game winning
ask
streak,
you
it
the
was
question.
really good. I mean, that's a league record to this day. It was
Okay.
untouchable. Probably the best team ever assembled
God,
under one manager.
Trumpian.
Hey, take that back.
I will not.
Take
I
that
will say,
back.
but I will just say real fast. Ronald Jones may be a contender for the "Don't Take the Bait" award. He might be.
Yeah, no. Trust me, he's on one of my lists. He's
Well,
already
listen,
wrapped up one of
I
the
offered you.
awards.
I offered you. Who did I offer? I think I offered you Noah Fant, and I was talked down to. I don't need Ronald Jones.
I was so smug.
You were
I
very
told him to
smart.
get out of here. I was like, don't give me that bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't want him. And
The
again,
98-year-old.
this was me living a thesis. I had he's not good. I don't need him. Don't want him. And it's totally blown up in my face. Thank you,
has.
Bruce
Thank you.
Arians.
I'm glad we have that on tape. The 90.
Fucking Bruce Arians, man. Like that guy doesn't know it. He doesn't know the first fucking thing about how to coach. He's just worried about his goddamn Kango hat, and oh man, oh it's cool,
Well,
everything's
all right.
good. Oh man,
I think we've gone off the
get some
rails.
smooth jazz. Come on,
Officially.
man.
Smooth
Oh,
jazz.
come on, dog. I like that tune. Let's do that. Like,
Uh-huh.
he's got to be everybody's friend.
He's
you
trying
know,
to be like
except for
Duke
Tom
Silver.
Brady's.
Yeah,
He's like a Duke Silver wannabe.
Make him sound like he's like one of the Doobie Brothers there.
Is that not what he's trying to go for? Is that not the look he's trying to go for?
I mean, it's been his look for a while. It's not like a new thing.
It's not a good look.
Okay, well, the question was about your team in 2020. You still have yet to give me anything coherent about that.
Oh, is that what we were going for?
How do you
my team? Well,
how do you feel about your roster going into the playoffs?
so I
What's
think
your
Damian
record?
Harris.
What's your record?
I think
Sorry,
the
what's your
key
record?
right here is Damian Harris. That's the
What is your
linchpin.
record? What is your record?
It's 5-6.
So you're gonna make the playoffs, though, yes?
No, don't jinx me. What the fuck?
No, Simmons. He's in, right?
Don't. No, I'm not.
That
No
is.
way. There's so many.
No,
there's
It's gonna be
there's
close.
a grip of teams
No,
that are
Simmons.
5-6.
That's insane. There's like 5 teams that are 5-6.
Yeah.
Simmons,
So like it doesn't.
Simmons,
And
don't tell him, but he's in.
And if I
He's
lose to
in.
Tyler, that puts me and him at like.
Lock it up.
You're
Dude.
a lock for the playoffs?
Wow.
I think he's a lock.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'll give
It's
it
gonna
to
be
you.
a dog. It's gonna be a dog
Go ahead and
fight.
say it.
It's gonna be a dog fight the last 2 weeks.
And I've already told Osborne that I'm guaranteeing a win in week 13.
against me.
Yes, I have guaranteed that
Okay.
to Osborne. So
That's
'cause he
good.
was like, I'm gonna need you to win that week. So I told him I could give that to him, but then I look at my team and
You're gonna make a conscious effort, and you will make it so.
I look at my team and now
By the way, just to
DJ
be
Moore
clear,
is
there's,
out.
there's like no management of the game day rosters in this. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you just have your team. Like, you
Yeah,
don't
it's just
start or play any. You don't
I
bench
just
anyone.
do my
I'm so
best.
mad. I'm looking at my team right now. I'm so mad I didn't get Cole Beasley.
I know.
There's like no.
I can't tell you how
You
pissed
just
off.
say, all
furious.
right, guys.
I texted Osborne and tried to trump up charges that what he did was unfair. That
I could have had him. I can't believe I picked
no,
up Matt Breida.
what it's
Can't
what
believe
he
it.
did was
Fucking
is
Matt
not
Breida.
supposed to happen. That
The bane of my existence.
you can't have a player play and then drop him for Cole Beasley. He
Well, I don't
shouldn't have
think he
done
dropped.
that.
I don't think he dropped a player who played. Did he?
He did.
You
Well,
can
but-
drop
but
a
he-
player who plays. They just don't count.
Right, and he
neither
was-
player
don't
counts
He was
count.
on
towards.
bye. Well, but he was on
something-
bye,
So
he
it's
wasn't
fine.
gonna count. I
I
think
do
it
it all
was
the
fine.
time.
But so
I know.
Everyone's
but
doing it,
for,
bro.
For Cole Beasley
Everyone's
specifically,
doing
it
it.
really rubbed me wrong. So I was trying to get him to feel bad
I
about
think-
it, so we would drop him.
I
but
think my fourth. I think I had issues with my roster anyway through this year. I just never have been totally comfortable with my receivers, and I can't seem to get all my guys to play, all my position groups to play well at once. But I think Burrow getting hit the way he did, like fourth ACL from my drafted roster, that's when it's like, okay, it's time for next year. I mean, I guess it's possible I could get hot in the playoffs. Who knows? But I've never had 4 ACLs in 1 year, so I'm not turning the page entirely to 2021 yet, but I'm ready for a fresher and healthier team than this.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I feel you on
your
that,
team,
man. You've had
I
some.
actually might be.
You've been
Now that
snake
I'm
bitten.
looking at your team. Your team is on the downside.
Thank you. Thank you for that compliment.
Well, I
Keep in mind that
I don't want to get your hopes up. and
yeah,
let
I don't
you-
think you should. I don't think I have a chance against you. I think you're gonna win.
There's so much reverse
Well,
jinx in
a
this
trickster,
episode. I
a
love
little
it.
trickster here. Who are you playing? The girly men. Oh, so you're gonna win this week.
The
Okay.
girly man.
Nothing is better than Simmons saying he's running away with it when they have the same record.
Well, if you look at the points, look at the
That is
Yeah, but
points.
But that's not who gets the title. The title is the best record.
But
If you guys are tied, then yes, he's gonna win. But
And
if
he's
you,
got
if you
and let's be honest. Gordon seems to have Osborne's number, at least in the past. Since he's been here.
Gordon's been in the league for like 2 minutes.
years.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, but he's beaten him every time.
dude,
he's played him, I
Osborne's
believe.
projected for 155 points. Like these are just
Historically since
outrageous.
2018.
2019 actually.
No, 2018 was his first year.
Was it? Is this his
Yeah.
year 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I know 2018 was his first year because
If I remember
because
correctly, he hasn't
he didn't-
lost to Osborne, so he's putting his record on the line here. And you got Mike Thomas. That rapport that he has with Taysom Hill. He's got Robbie Anderson, who might be able to.
you're just reading his
get some
roster now?
magic.
The classic Taysom Hill Mike Thomas connection has been going on for years.
I know. I think he can do something here. Aaron
Recipe for
Jones,
success.
I think Dalvin Cook is in for a world of pain with Carolina, and that
Gordo's
appears to be
Gordo's
fun.
receiver depth. Osborne and I were talking about this. Gordo's receiver depth is really unprecedented in our 12-team league. If you look at his receiver depth, it's insane.
Oh Jesus!
Wow. Yeah.
Sterling Shepard as his wide receiver 9, maybe.
Okay, that wouldn't be even close to the first observation I would make.
Keenan
for sure.
Allen, Robbie Anderson, Michael Thomas, Cooper Kupp, Stefan
Stephon
Diggs,
Good
DJ
Lord.
Shark, Christian Kirk, Mike Williams.
Yeah,
He's got a shitload of receivers just in general.
and the way he's able to pull it off is
It's smart.
he's got one of the only backfields in the league where he could. Oh, I compared it. Who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Osborne actually about this as well. It's a worse version of the the 2018 Saints, where I was able to play Kamara and Ingram at the same time. You can play Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams at the same time and get away with it. And there's a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of backfields that he couldn't do what he's been able to do with that because he's just, I mean, the flip side with Gordo's team of having that receiver depth is he's got no room for error on the running backs, but he's been able to navigate that with Green Bay. Now, of course, if Green Bay has an off game statistically, then he's in a major hole there at that particular position. But he's been able to do it because Jamal Williams has been serviceable, and frankly, that circles back to the Packers draft where it made even less sense. It makes even less sense than it did during draft night now that they drafted AJ Dillon because Jamal Williams was good last year. He was fine. Aaron Jones was very good, and Jamal Williams was pretty good. And so it becomes more and more puzzling with each week this season to see like it's like okay, you wanna come up with the idea that they drafted Jordan Love to like shake things up and get Rodgers mad. I don't buy that, but okay. I could at least you could spin it to me where I could maybe at least consider it. The AJ Dillon thing makes no sense. And when you look at the receivers, like we've already talked about, who they passed on to take him in the second round, and you look at their lack of receiving depth this year, even if they are 7-3 and putting on good numbers, it's just as a Packers fan, it's pretty frustrating because Rodgers, he needs more weapons and he needs more reliable weapons in the passing game. And instead, they've got this third string running back who doesn't really fit their system and who is, for the time being, just going to languish on the bench.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my Packers soapbox.
No, it's the draft, the whole, like you said, the whole draft was really puzzling. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest QBs of all time, and you don't get him more receiver help. I mean, I like Lazard, to be fair, but
But he's been hurt.
he's been hurt, and he's also like, why not get more like Pittsburgh, who is like the Gordo of the NFL, where you get like tons of receivers and you cycle them in, and this one guy falls down, and then there's another guy to take his place, and they're all really skilled, and they all can make plays and stuff. I mean, the Packers are pretty thin at receiver. I mean, I don't hate Valdez Scantling,
MVS. Yeah.
but like he's kind of hot and cold,
He's
No,
very
he
hot and
sucks.
cold.
he's a burner. He's
NVS.
definitely a burner, but it's
He,
really
he doesn't
puzzling, man.
suck. He doesn't suck. He's not.
Nah, he's he just runs.
Okay.
He just runs fast. He just runs fast. Like
Okay.
he's got nothing else.
He's fine.
He's Darius Hayward Bay.
I don't think that's true. But he's
Well,
fine. He's fine. But he's not. You don't want him as the wide receiver too. That's for sure. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Lazard has been good though.
Yeah,
I should-
Lazard has been good. I mean, Lazard had a good career at Iowa State.
But what
and-
if they had
and-
Claypool or Higgins?
No, I know. Dude, ugh.
Or
well, Jordan
know.
Love was obviously a more.
or they traded for Will
last year.
Fuller. They were going to trade for Will Fuller, weren't they?
They had
What
talked
happened
about
to
it.
that?
Yeah.
That like fell apart.
They didn't. Texans didn't want to give up what the Packers. Excuse me. The
Were
Texans.
offering.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm brain dead here. The Packers did not want to part with what the Texans were asking for.
Mm,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah. Kemp, what time is it there?
It's 12:45. I'm
I
about
think
to
you probably
fall
should
asleep.
sign off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost Thanksgiving.
Uh,
You guys, we got any predictions on the 3 Thanksgiving Day games? This
I
will
can't wait for that Baltimore game if it happens.
this is not an evergreen part of the pod. You guys have any predictions on the games that are in 40 hours?
Nor was our fantasy,
I'm
our fantasy
going
talk,
to give you.
but it's all good.
I'm going to give you some betting action if you guys want.
Okay, I just was going to ask who's going to win the game.
So wait,
The
what's the first game again? Lions.
First game
I'm
we
going
got
the
we got the
Lions over the
Houston Texans
Texans.
at the Detroit
Ooh,
Lions.
give me
the
the
Texans.
give me the
give me
give me the Lions. Give me the Lions.
Texans. No, actually, you know what?
What's
I don't know what I'm thinking. No.
Jesus Christ, I don't have anything in front of me right now.
Texans. Give me the Texans at -2.5.
I'll take the
Deshaun
Texans
Watson.
as well. I'll take the Texans.
I don't know what I was thinking.
I'll take the
Cowboys
Lions.
and the football team. Give me the football team.
I'll take the Cowboys.
And then Ravens and Steelers.
Here's your shocker. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to end the Steelers' undefeated season.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that as well.
Wow. I've been
If
seeing
it
that
happens.
around. Like people think that's gonna happen.
Hold on. Did you
I
say,
don't know.
Kim, did you say you're going to say it if it happens?
I said, give me the Ravens if the game happens.
Oh, if the game happens. I thought you meant if they win, you will have said that they were going to win.
If they win, I
No,
said they're
the
gonna
game,
win.
the game might be
if
off.
they win, I called it. But those are my hot picks.
But what's gonna
next
happen
season.
with the Ravens? It's always like, what's gonna happen if they fall behind like 1 or 2 touchdowns? I feel like they just
Yeah.
fall apart.
Yeah,
It's like,
Lamar can't come back. Lamar does not do comebacks.
and it's in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think
that's
it's going to
true.
be. I don't think they're going to fall behind though. That game
But
is never like that.
you guys took the
I'm taking the
Ravens.
Ravens. Yeah, I'm taking the
Yeah, you
Ravens.
guys
I
took
think
the
I'm gonna
Kemp.
pick the Ravens. I'm
You
picking
took the Ravens.
Yeah,
I'm
mine looks
taking the
stupid.
Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers. We'll see what happens.
I am a.
We're
that-
betting
that
no
is
money.
My nervous
There's no
pick of the
stakes at
week.
all. And
I'm
I can
doing
tell you
a,
what's going to happen. I can
doing
tell you
a
what's going to happen.
3-game
Okay,
parlay.
one team's going to win and the other's going to lose, and it's 60 minutes, possibly 70 if it's overtime.
I think what's gonna happen is Big Ben's like a little like bolt's gonna come loose from his knee, and his entire body he's just gonna like crumple into like a pile on the field. Like it looks like he's about to just fall apart every time he gets
And the
brushed
Steelers
against.
have already had their week because they had that issue with the Titans where they had the COVID outbreak.
Big Ben was put on this earth to shed COVID virus everywhere on a field.
Naturally.
I can't believe has he not gotten sick yet? I can't believe he's
No,
not. been
he was
positive
like
yet.
right next to who was the tight end? Vance McDonald who got it. Apparently he was sitting in the in the airplane seat right next to him.
What the fuck? How did
they
he
were
even get
probably
it?
talking and just breathing all over each other.
He's got the
And he didn't get
antibodies
it.
inside
He
of him.
didn't get it.
He's immune.
Is he,
He's
is he
like,
sipping? Is he just like
"Vance,
he's sipping on the Regeneron?
Can I take a sip of that gin and tonic?"
Yeah.
And
Maybe
taking
they
a
were
sip of it.
maybe they were wearing masks or something. You never know.
No,
Possible.
I mean he's immune. Is the whole point that Sam was getting at? That COVID does not affect him.
Central. It's something. It's a Central Ohio thing. Kemp, maybe you need to tap into it.
It is Findlay, Ohio.
If you
All right,
live
guys.
like a savage, then you can just fend off COVID.
It is something, and I learned I have. I did learn this week that I had, or last week that I had type O blood, and that is apparently the special blood that never gets it. Only people without type A or type O.
Jesus
So
Christ.
I am immune.
God, I didn't know where that was gonna go.
Type Z.
It went
Type Z blood.
it went only the way that Kemp could take it, which is the virus is no match for me. Thank God you are not on a task force. That we're
Oh, fuck off! I could give comment. I could
okay.
give.
We don't need you to. It's okay. I think this is the time to sign off here, gentlemen. Real quick, last thing. 3 words or less. Favorite Thanksgiving side.
Kemp, go first.
Oh man,
Gotta think
I
about
just
it.
love
3
the
words. 3
sweet
words.
potato
God.
and pecan
Casserole.
thingamabob that my mom makes.
Pie.
And it's like she just loads it up with brown sugar and
What
butter
is
and
this?
it's like a big
Pouring
like
it,
whole helping with the
2 pounds of
casserole
sugar on
pan
top
and
of the
everything.
casserole dish. I'm just picturing like sugar just being poured all
You
over.
look like
Oh, I made it extra sloppy for you.
you look like Larry David when Larry David was putting on the bra and the security camera.
It's so funny. Larry David. For me, it's cornbread stuffing. I'm excited for that.
Nice.
But I like a lot of things. I don't want to get into it though, because
Okay,
go
understood.
on and on and on.
Yeah, no, I know.
Kemp's got to get his
What
beauty
about you?
rest.
What about you, Sam?
Yeah, what about you, Sam?
I think Thanksgiving food is pretty overrated.
Baked beans.
Wow.
Um,
Lame.
I,
Here's Sam. This is
Whoa.
classic Sam to give everybody else, and then you're like, well, what about you, Sam? I don't know.
my favorite thing
Thanksgiving.
about
That's a pretty hot take. Thanksgiving is overrated. That's a hot
no,
take.
no. Time out. Thanksgiving is not
But you
overrated.
hate our country now? Are you
Yeah.
not a
No,
patriot?
that is
Like
what he
what?
said. That
The
is
food,
what he said.
the food is overrated to me. To
Hmm.
me,
That's fair. Yeah.
I'd rather do
It's wrong, but it's fair.
I'd rather
Need to
do
have like
a
this little like
barbecue lunch. I'd rather
sounds.
do a Mexican feast.
You could
I'd
do a
rather do
Soundboard.
Mexican.
We need to
You
have
could
a
do a Mexican
soundboard.
Thanksgiving. You know,
Yeah, I know,
put
but
some.
that's not what we do. That's not Thanksgiving in America usually, right?
Okay, so what's your
That's
meal,
true.
bro?
No, I do. It's the same thing you guys eat. I mean,
No,
I think it's good.
what is your Thanksgiving dish that you like?
Favorite thing, I would say either the dressing.
I like
I
the
think I got
turkey.
three. I'll give you three: dressing,
Giblet gravy.
mashed potatoes, and mac and cheese.
Nice. I was making a face at the giblet gravy.
Oh, giblet gravy is the
I mean, I've never heard it described that way. I know it's made with giblets sometimes, but just saying
Yeah,
giblet
that's
in the
it's like a southern
title kind
thing.
of
Yeah.
grosses me out a
yeah.
little
Oh
bit.
man, it's
It's
so
like
good.
fat gravy, like
No, it's
because
like
it's
their
made with
innards.
fat.
It's like
Well, I know, but like
turkey tripe.
you're a little bit too descriptive in the title of the food. You know, it's like
Mm.
you just say gravy. Don't say giblets. Makes me want to
I'm
vomit.
Give me
not a pie
giblets.
guy. I have to say,
Give me the
pie.
giblets.
Never been a pie guy.
You
Yeah.
don't like pies?
No.
Man, you got some. Man, I don't know about some of your food takes, man.
Listen,
Whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
cake,
No.
I like
Sam,
weird food. I
cookies.
like weird food myself, so I can't really talk. But
hey, I know Ben. Me and Ben were racking it up at the Golden Corral. I know
it's
Ben's
true.
food
It's true.
taste.
What does that have
They
to
are
do
as
with?
That's like
fancy as it
Thanksgiving
gets.
every day. You go there and
Oh
you can have
man, it
Thanksgiving
Is
was
it
any day of
though?
the week. That's why I
wow.
love those kind of places.
Do they
Well,
have
they're
Thanksgiving
no
type
longer
food?
exist now, but
Mm,
But does Golden Corral have like
yeah, oh yeah,
Thanksgiving
they
type
got
food?
Sam, they got a whole spread.
yeah,
They
you know, I
got
never even thought about that.
mashed potatoes. They've
I bet Golden
got
Corral doesn't make it
oven
past
roasted
COVID.
turkey. They've got it all, man. You can get
Poor
ham,
Golden
sliced
Corral.
ham there.
Turkey is like
It's
really.
all like grade D meat, but you know it's good, man.
Yeah,
If you get I've gotten the last few years down here. If you get like a barbecue place to do like a good smoked turkey, it's incredible.
Oh yeah,
But
smoked. It's the
yeah, yeah.
best.
if you just have the standard, but this is what I mean when I say it's overrated. I mean compare like I'd rather have
A
like
fried
a
turkey.
good brisket. I'd take a fried turkey, sure. I'd take fried chicken. I'd take fajitas. I'd take any of this over like Thanksgiving food.
Well, just get
Yeah.
like get it. Make sure you get a smoked turkey. Go to one of those barbecue places
Yeah,
and pick up some smoked
that's what we
Yeah,
turkey.
do.
You know.
Yeah, that's what I do.
when I went
But
down
bad.
to
I want real quick
Austin,
though, real quick. Bad turkey is really bad.
tell me
Bad
the
turkey
story.
is ruins a
Like a
meal.
dry chicken breast or
Awful,
something.
awful.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
Yeah,
The,
keep
what
Chris.
did
chewing on it.
I went to
Tell me
like
about your
Donnie's
Austin.
barbecue down in Austin when I was going to the LBJ Ranch back in October. Man, they had some of the best brisket.
Dude, we don't fuck
The
around down
place
here.
I wanted to go in Austin, apparently you had to like
Franklin,
stand in line
Franklin,
like hours before.
Mm.
What?
Franklin is the place you're talking about. I bet.
Yes, that I wanted to go to, but I couldn't
Yeah,
because the line
you
was
got to
like,
sit in line for like an hour and a half. Yeah.
yeah, and like COVID, I couldn't do that. But so we went to like, I've got a cup from it, but I'll have to think about that.
Two things I like about Thanksgiving.
But
Sorry,
LBJ Ranch
story is still
is
going.
where I'm going with this.
Uh,
So let's talk about LBJ.
no, we don't. I don't want to. Two things.
12:53 in the morning.
Two things.
All
Two
right,
things
I
I like
found
You
my
have
about.
to work
second
tomorrow,
wind. Are we
Kim?
gonna talk about? Are we gonna talk about LBJ?
No,
Because
we're not. Two things about Thanksgiving.
3 hours later,
Yeah.
turn into a political conversation.
Football, and I've always been a sucker. I mean, now I don't watch it as much, but when I was little, I loved the
Charlie
parade.
Brown.
I love that Macy's. Yeah, and I like the Charlie Brown. I love that parade
Mm.
when I was a kid, and it's fun. Like when you got it, like our nieces and nephews watch it, and like little kids who watch that stuff. When you watch them watch like in all the floats,
Yeah, you
I think
live
that's cool.
vicariously through him.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that part, and I love the
Mm.
football. The meal, the meal is not my favorite. I don't think it's bad. I'll eat it, and
Mm.
the good side dishes are good. I just am
Yeah,
not
I
as
like all
enamored.
the sides. The sides, I think, is what. But even if the turkey sucks, which let's be frank, a lot of times it will suck
It's
because it
easy
gets
to make it
dry.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but like usually, like, like, you get like some broccoli casserole, or green bean casserole, or like
Yeah.
these kind of southern side, like corn pudding.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it's delicious. I
The
don't know,
key the
like
key to the turkey too
sweet
is you got to keep this.
potatoes.
You want this. You got to keep the skin on.
Yeah, and you got
And
to eat the
like,
dark meat too.
yes, a big
Mm.
turkey leg, like the big turkey leg, like
that
you're
you
at
get in the
like you're at
medieval
a
fairs.
yeah, exactly, a Renaissance fair. That
Yeah,
shit is good. Simmons, have
I
you ever
mean,
had a big turkey leg?
yeah, it's
yeah,
been a
they
Yeah.
while,
are
but
really
yeah.
good. They're
Oh
like
yeah, babe.
$8. They're so expensive at the
Yeah.
Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
At the
$8,
Renaissance.
not that expensive for a meat dish, but sure.
Dude, it's a leg.
Okay, all right. It's big. It's like a giant chicken wing.
Yeah,
v-
maybe. Yeah,
Well, some of
maybe.
that is bone and gristle, but you're right. I mean, it's an enormous turkey leg. It's
Yeah,
probably like enough
like
for like a
3/4
couple
of the weight is
sandwiches.
bone.
Other thing I used to like about in Thanksgiving is just playing football with cousins. That was the best.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't do
Well,
that now
maybe
though
one
because
day in the
everyone's
future.
Friends, that's really what's important. God,
Ah,
country.
okay.
Mm.
These
God,
are the things that are
This is
important.
this is
on
what I get for
Thanksgiving.
being earnest. Okay.
No,
I
Kim's in a partial dream state right now
God,
because it's so late there.
12:55, and I'm trying to get to bed.
Yeah. All right,
You're
guys.
talking about God and
Excellent.
country.
Until next
Okay.
time.
All right, I'm stopping recording.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
All right.
Gaudy.
Bye, guys.
So God. So God. Gaudy stats. Gaudy stats.